Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now we're going to get our popcorn and then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car and I'll be in there in a minute. I see you soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think you'll have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be
along
as
the
bright
Tama
as
has
the
been missing
sun.
in Savannah.
And as you come around, and it feels so right, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give, something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now I know. Baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give, something's telling me it's right. When you came to me, oh I knew it's you, yeah, boy.
Where is Cody?
Hey family, how's everybody doing on this terrific Wednesday? You guys, yes, let's get into some of this topic. I've had time to think and my mind is cluttered, but we're gonna get into it. I did reach out and I text Kenya and let her know that we were coming on. And if she shows up, she shows up. If she don't, we'll catch her another time. Maybe we don't know. But I thought I was going to be able to just get a piece of paper and write down a whole bunch of questions. If you guys got questions, you guys know Kenya was in the chat yesterday, and we had a really good conversation. I really love conversating with people about Naziah. And I don't get upset with what they say to me, whether they're family or not family. First of all, you guys, let me come in here and not just start running my mouth or start sitting down eating at the table. Let me speak to everybody that came in. Leisure came in first. Leisure Lady, Lisa Calhoun, Sanja Watts, Zena's in the building, Spicy's in the building, and we got Diane Harris in the building. Diane Harris been here a long time. She is not related to Annette Harris, okay? Virtuous is in the building, and we got Batcave in the building. You guys don't know Batcave. I met Batcave when I went down there to Texas. She's a warrior. She's a true warrior, you guys. I haven't seen her in a while. I don't know where she been. But she said, SP, I'll go. She said, you finna go knock on doors? I'll go. I love it. I love it. If we can have just 10 more like that, 10 more when we show up in the town and we go door to door and we look in, we wonder where the baby at, where the kids is at. I'm pretty sure there would have been other people that would came, but when she offered, and so that was cool. And I know she did not know while I was down there. Like, I mean, we were down there, but to interview DB's mom and try to see what happened, and and things of that nature. But she came down and she held it down. She helped out, you guys. And we already knew, they already had the baby's body and everything, but we was wondering, can we get anyone to tell us, what happened, because I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I love the police. I do. I'm not gonna sit here and say I hate the police, because when you need them, guess what? They will come when nobody else come to help you, and the help may not be all that, but when your back is up against the wall and you don't know which way to go, they will show up. At least they will show up. And sometimes that's all you need to make people back off or make a better decision than what you finna do, because nobody wants to get in a squabble with somebody and then there you are, all cowboy and Indian, shooting at each other because this said that and that hit you and that didn't. Things can go south really quick. But yeah, it was, I don't know, I think it probably was like maybe 3 years ago or whatever. Batcave came down. She was like, come on, let's go. And shoot, we hit the pavement and we were asking questions, and they were talking to us. They were telling us what's going on. They had told us when we was riding down the street, hey, a kid got snatched over there. Do you know what happened? And the neighbors was like, yeah, they were talking to us and saying, hey, we the ones that found him and da 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 da. So you guys, we got the 411. So if it's always close enough that I can get to, and I don't have to, it don't have to be Texas, but you know what I'm saying, where I can get back home or whatever, because I do got to work. Some people have to work. They got to have a job. And but we did that one, and it was good. It was nice. It was nice seeing Batcave, and she was out there. Anyway, and I know that you guys that can't be out there, that's cool. But one of these days, there's gonna probably be a case, and 2, 3, 4 show up. That's gonna be wonderful, and we're just gonna keep building, and you're building and building, and people be like, "Oh, SP, you thinking da 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 da." You never know what God has in store for you. If He has it on your heart, just do what He say do, or try to do what He say do. Because some of us, we fail. We fail by the wayside. We try to understand the logic and science and the physics of stuff. But first of all, you guys, let's get off into what Neziah. Is Neziah alive? So that was the main question. And I asked Kenya, did she think that Neziah was alive? And she kind of, her voice got softened. And she said, no. Oh, another thing too. Somebody in the chat channel said, SP, you must be real close up to the thing. No, I'm actually not. I'm actually I'm in this chair right here. I know y'all can hear it when I turn and pivot or whatever. But I'm sitting in this chair at my desk, and I'm just talking normal. Actually, my voice usually when I'm like, nobody's at home, the dog is put up, I feel a little bit more um, confident, and we're just having a conversation, and so I feel like I have to speak loud enough. But when I listened to the live yesterday, I'm like, dang, I'm so loud. And she was just so, you could barely hear her, And I know that's the phone thing doing that, but but like I said, there's certain things that I wanted you guys to know, and I do got a video. Hey Tina, hey, what's going on? Hey Danielle, how's it going? Let me see. Did I say hello to everybody? Virtuous, I say hello. Zena, I say hello. Leisure, I say hello. Sonia Watts, Lisa Calhoun, Tina Powers. See. Now, did y'all not notice that when we came on and everything, people were coming in live and they was listening and they they were asking questions or something. I did pick out some good questions that, some people were saying or whatever they were talking about. And, but some of them I didn't, why? Because they were attacking, and then the one question I didn't think it was an attack. She was like, well, why'd y'all say this? But she said it in a respectful way. So I said, well, let me ask the question. So they were talking about something on TikTok, and they, and I don't know what the joke was. And she said it was a joke, and we were playing with Kiana, and Mark had big eyes and all this other stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I really can care less if somebody got the sweets on Mark D. I mean, why would you not? I mean, he's a man, okay? I mean, he's a man. He's got things that works and everything. He works a job. He's got his own channel. I mean, he's doing big things, and he stayed. If Mark D did not stay on the Naziah case, we probably all wouldn't have heard it. Sometimes people have to blow that horn. And when they blow that horn, they're actually saying they're not going to get traction if every, and this is what I was trying to explain to Kenya. I was trying to explain to her. So when this channel grabs the topic Naziah, and this channel grabs the topic of Naziah, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and then you got little channels or bigger channels, they grab it, because big channels gonna grab it, and they got professional diggers. They've been doing this for a long time. I just look at them and be like, but this is what they do full time, I can't do it full time. I've got to work a job. And they've been doing it for years, before we even thought about a YouTube channel. So they got a nice following, and they understand this technology really with no problem. They can probably do it in their sleep. But when these YouTube channels grab a topic and grab a case, and they, and there's things that's not making sense, and then another channel grabs it, and then you might have a couple that they're playing tag team with the topic, and but they're getting people interested. They're telling them the things that they have questions about, that the cops are not going to say, hey, let me answer all your questions. Yeah, they got a kid. Yeah, the kid was molested. Yeah, this child ran away. Yeah, she had so many whatever. She got locks on the freezer. She moved over here. They're not going to give us all those details. So maybe not all is true, but people say a lot of bad things about YouTube. Now, I'm going to say channels, most of what they're saying is a lot true. They might agitate some stuff, and but they got there some kind of way. They just didn't come out the sky and say, I'm gonna say Annette had a child when she 13. They had to hear it from somewhere, somebody, and they went and tried to do some research. Now, whether they found everything, because sometimes you're gonna come to a halt and not find all the information, and so you just go with it. And just like when we were looking up where was Annette's oldest child, if she actually did have oldest child. Now, the rumor was she had a child when she was 13. So that make the child 51. So we started looking for people that was related to Annette with that name, all the names that she's ever went under, that was 51. And that's how we came up with Anthony. Now, it may not seem like, oh, that wasn't a fact, SP, but then you start at putting things together, adding things up, and of course, you make phone calls, you reach out, and you look at pictures, you get on the Facebook pages, you get on people that know them, neighbors or some. Oh, you can definitely touch someone. So I was just thinking, you guys, and I'm going to say this, and that is, so, if these YouTube channels do not speak on the case goes dead. People, like, what I'm trying to say to you guys is when you have the internet, that's a tool. It's a tool. Having a YouTube channel is a tool. And when you have big subscriber numbers, or you've been working on it for years and years and years, whether you got 10 people in the chat or 1,000 people in the chat, you can actually touch that many people. It all depends on what you're talking about. It all depends on your group, your family that comes in. Are they going to hit that subscribe button? Are they going to hit that like button? That's why I tell you guys, hit that like button, hit that like button, hit the like button. Because when you guys come in and just plop and sit down, you're just here for you. But if you're really here for the channel, hit that like button so that YouTube, is called the algorithm. The YouTube will say something's going on over there. That's why sometimes, YouTubers will say, put a 1 in the chat. They pretty much know what you're thinking, but it gives a more factual number when you say put a 1 in the chat. Then you know who's listening to you. Also, at the same time, when you see people listening, they're interacting with you. So when they're interacting with you, YouTube is seeing that. And so when YouTube is seeing that, hey, there's 50 people over there in that channel right there. Now, 50 is really peanuts to a lot of YouTubers. They'd be like, oh, yeah, I remember when I first started mine. Actually, when we first started this YouTube channel, our first day of going live, we had 30 people. So to have 50 is like peanuts. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, you guys are not peanuts, but you know what I mean? Like it really takes a long time. So when a person has a channel and they're putting their channel out there to bring awareness to Neziah, I give them the respect. Not they could be all in the wrong, but what I'm saying is they can reach thousands, whether you like them or not, or they're totally going to be different because people know what they want to talk about. Now, if you look at the Tyrese Nichols case, Tyrese Nichols video went, the news got it and put it out there. And YouTube is just nothing but a small clip of the news. You know what I'm saying? But it's individuals doing it. Individuals sharing their thoughts, sharing their opinion, sharing what they know, what they seen, who they know. Let me tell you something. And I'm telling you guys this, if you don't understand, YouTube is the best tool in the world for people, especially of color, that is missing or something happened. Why? Because before you only had the telephone and you would call your friend and say, hey girl, you know, Jaja's missing. And then she may tell somebody or she may mention it to somebody. But it goes from one person to another person to another person. And maybe 10, 15 people in the town know about what happened to Jaja, right? But when it comes to YouTube, you don't have to know nobody. You come on a channel and they're saying, hey, Naziah is missing and they think she's deceased. That's what they're saying. But the minute you hit that live button, and you especially had a channel and you got 2,000 plus videos, or you got 700 videos, or you got 50 videos, and people not know, they're not doing anything. So they're on YouTube, they're bored, they're wondering what's going on. And then somebody put a share, somebody did a thumbs up, and it comes on their FY page. That's telling them, guess what? That is a video that's live right now. Maybe you want to interact with people, socialize with people. You don't know what they're talking about. But guess what? You can hit thousands. You can, hundreds of people can be in your chat all in one day. We seen one time we was live and we had 1,000 people. We was like, what the heck happened? We've never had it before. We had it one time, but I was like, what the heck happened? We went from, I think we was up to 200-300, and next thing I know, bam, we had 1,000 people, and we was like, and I don't think we were really talking about anything important, but the algorithm got our video because people were putting up the thumbs up, they were sharing, they were interacting in the chat, and it was all good. Now what happens? People come in the chat. And this is the displacement that they have. They come in and they say, well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to say hello. I'm not going to put a 1 in the chat. I'm not going to put a like. I'm not going to share. I'm going to sit here. Like, entertain me. Some YouTube channels are entertainment. But I'm letting you guys know. You cannot stop something that God has already ordained. It doesn't matter how long it takes. He's going to make it happen when it happens. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, you guys watch because when it happens, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And if it don't happen, it happened for whatever reason. I'm not going to lose no sleep because you didn't hit a thumbs up or you didn't share or you didn't like. I'm going to make sure that you guys know that it can be on any topic. It can go both ways. And what I'm saying is, if we don't use this YouTube, because people make it think, they talk about it. We as African Americans, We come on, oh, it's just crazy. We get on here and we just start doing this, and they need to take their channel and da 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 and all this other stuff. This is a freedom of speech. You can talk to whoever you can talk about whatever you really want to. And if you two don't like about what you talk about, they'll just take you down. But it takes a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? But she said, I mean, yeah, I know you share spicy. Hey Phyllis, how you doing? And then sometimes you guys, so sometimes when you see people that has been on other people's channels and been there more than once, been there 4 or 5 times, been over here 4 or 5 times, been over here 4 or 5 times, and they done got into it or whatever. You know, like I'm no, I just, I don't think the person that is getting on the channels understand that if I shoot the person that does what I do, not the same as I do, but if I shoot them down, I'm basically killing our chances of trying to keep a connection that we're YouTube sisters and brothers, that we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Whether I like them or not, you don't do that, because their people in their channels is my people that's in my channels. Their family that's in their channels when I'm not on, they're talking about the things I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So why would, you know what I mean? And some days, we have our bad days, Some days it's not the day to run up on somebody. But yeah, today it's a good day. Exactly, Phyllis. Today it is a good day. But so I think what happened, and I don't know, because I don't watch the whole thing when people do get into it. People may think I'm wrong, but I just don't do it because it's a lot of negativity. And I'm trying to either, I got so much things I got to do. I'm calling this person. I'm looking up this. I'm wondering, why do this match up with this, but they're saying it's not, or whatever. Anyway, nevertheless, and we all do it. We get off track. I get off track all the time. So, that's just a given. But I was thinking about, not only, I think, and I'm not talking about the content creator themselves, I'm talking about the people in the chat. So, when the host of the channel believes something, or they're going to run with what they know. They're going to run with what they've heard. They may not can say everything that they know. I'm going to tell you guys, I can't tell you everything I know. I wish I could. Man, I mean, I say it in so 50 million words. Sometimes when you guys hear me not back up, okay, are y'all listening? Put a 1 in the chat when you hear what I just said. Put a 1 in the chat if you hear what I just said. When you guys see that I don't back up and I say, I beg to differ. I pretty much beg to differ. I think you're wrong on that. I don't tell people they're wrong, because you have your own opinion. But when I say that you're wrong, oh, trust and believe, I know for a fact, because I've heard it from, I didn't hear it from the grapevine, but I know from, the horse's mouth. That's not so. That's not true. And sometimes you'll hear me say, no, I believe you're wrong on that one right there. And then people be like, yeah, it could be this, it could be that. Okay, when you throw it out there, like it can be, you could have lived, you say, I could have lived in your house before. No, you couldn't have. And then they say, yeah, I could have. You don't know. You don't know where all I've lived at or whatever. No, I don't know where all you lived at. But I do know one thing. I built this house. So there's no way in the world anybody could have lived here before me. Hello? You understand what I'm saying? Because I know something that contradicts exactly what you're saying or whatever. So when I don't listen to the other people arguments or whatever, I don't say anything because I don't know what they're arguing about. I don't know why they're arguing. That's not my forte. It's not my problem. And and even though I was so grateful to ask her questions, we got to ask her questions yesterday. She didn't answer any questions that gave me a valid answer. Did you guys get any answers of any of the valid questions that we asked? Because the number one question that's why I didn't reach out to them. I would never mind having them as a guest or come on or talking to them because they say they love Naziah. So of course, if you love Naziah, you wake up and you think about Naziah. You wonder, man, could she be alive? Man, but we give you this thought in your head. So I asked her the question. I say, don't tell me why you think she's not alive. Just tell me why you think she's not alive. And your family. You would have thought, and people, we're all on the same page because we're on the outside looking in. You would have thought a family member saying, well, we're just going to keep praying for her. I believe there's a chance, there's hope, or, since they didn't find the actual shoes that she was wearing, they didn't find the actual pants she was wearing, they didn't find this colorful jacket that she was wearing, they didn't find the white shirt that was underneath this jacket that she was wearing, they didn't find her backpack, they didn't find her panties, they didn't find her bra, they didn't find her socks. They didn't find anything else that was in this backpack. But isn't it kind of weird that these shoes that don't match, that other people done put their hands on, because they had to put their hands on them. The man said that the shoe was wrapped inside the onesie. So somebody had to put their hands on the shoes. Somebody did. And then the detective get on the stand and say they did not even do a DNA analysis on them. Because you know why they didn't? Because you're going to have other people's fingerprints and DNA on evidence. But the shoe doesn't even match. That's what's weird. And if the shoe don't match, think about what I'm saying. The shoe don't match. This one got black threading, that one got white threading. Explain that to me. How is it that a shoe that looks like, what is the odds? Tell me, you guys, please, what is the odds of Naziah coming up missing January the 9th on the day he was supposed to be in jail, locked up, but the judge released him so he can go and take care of business. His business was Naziah. And I don't know if he did it on purpose or it was an accident, but he left that courtroom and went back to the shop, and then they went out looking for Naziah because she was going to be, and it was weird. Hey, this is SP.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, you talking to that girl from Saginaw, Michigan?
Who's that?
The girl who Jarvis brought up here from Saginaw, and she describing the grandmama house she was in on Fisher.
No.
Oh, okay, that's some other people interviewing her then.
Yeah. A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah. Well, pretty much I'm listening to the girl. How would she even know this area? She never been over there.
Yeah.
And they keep showing this red building on Crane and Kirchwood. That's the goddamn old motherfucking cleaners.
Yeah. Well.
And then there used to be a restaurant right next door to it. Ezel Fish Restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that interview her right now, and I'm thinking she talking about this house next to this church, and then the lady on there say that that's what the spiritual lady with the little young girl was talking about this black fence when they was over there on 7 Mile. But it's a black fence on this church on Fisher and Crane on the east side.
Yeah.
My thing is, I've been saying it, and we all just keep saying, we don't got nobody telling us that this little girl came back from Ypsilanti, but King and that lady who live in Ypsilanti. No one else.
Exactly.
And that's my whole thing.
Exactly. They the only ones are saying that she came back.
Listen, they place her in Ypsilanti by saying she was there, she sat by the TV, we had to go get more money for the car. They placed her in Ypsilanti, and then they made her disappear out of Ypsilanti by saying she left.
Yeah.
Okay, King and Jarvis made it back from Ypsilanti, but why didn't she?
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. They made it back from Ypsilanti.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen this girl since.
Right.
That them people placed her in Ypsilanti.
Kenya came on the live yesterday, and she said that Kim Worthy said that they got a video of Jarvis going into the hotel with her, and I ain't heard Kim Worthy.
We ain't seen that. We ain't seen no video. How come they didn't show that at the preliminary?
Yeah, I went back.
My thing about that is, you remember the black lady detective? She said she went to the hotel. She said it was surveillance cameras out there and inside. She said it was only surveillance camera on the outside of the perimeter and as well as in the lobby. And she didn't get a warrant. She didn't do her job. She didn't ask for a warrant. She gave an explanation that video was overridden constantly, so it wouldn't have been no video. That's what her explanation was.
Right.
Yeah. And so we ain't seen no video to say this little girl was back in Detroit.
Right.
We only going off the word that she was in Ypsilanti, and she left Ypsilanti, but she never made it back to Detroit, but Jarvis and King did.
Right.
That's my point. As far as any video, who to say this little girl made it back from Ypsilanti?
Right.
Alive.
Exactly.
She could have been having a complications when she was in Ypsilanti, because no one ever asked that one on the stand. They didn't ask the lady what she was going through, but she seemed like she was dehydrated or sick or something, or needed medical attention. Nobody asked that question.
Right.
They only asked what time did they leave Ypsilanti.
Yeah.
And they gave a time frame.
And then the girl said it was daylight out when they left.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably was still a little light. Not daylight. Everybody thinking like right now. It probably was still a little light out, almost dark. Yes.
That's what she said. But we looked at the we went on to you look up
the weather and the time of
year was. We went back to 2024, January the 9th. It rained a little bit down there.
What time she said they left Ypsilanti?
She said she didn't say the time. She said they were only there 30 minutes to an hour. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, then an hour, she said.
Yeah, because I remember she said they were going to wait for him to see his son, but they had to get back.
Yeah. And the whole time that they stayed, she said the girl didn't eat nothing, didn't go to the bathroom, didn't ask for water, didn't nothing. But then when they left, they asked her the defense. And that's what got me, because the defense said,
Well, how was the car arranged when they left?
no, they said, how did they leave? And she said, King's truck. Say, what was they driving? And she said, King's truck.
Okay.
King's truck.
Okay, yeah. That's what she said.
A 300 is not a truck.
You're right. See, now we're going to stop right there. He said he drove a Chrysler 300 up there.
Yeah.
And she said a truck.
Yeah.
Stop right there.
You can't get a truck mixed up with a car. If you seen a truck, you'll say a truck. If you seen a car, you say you seen a car. But she said a truck.
Everything that she said right there, that all sounds like to me an alibi for a homicide. You know what I'm saying? Because now you make them confusion of what they left in.
Or did they tell them they drove this car, but they didn't drive that car? You know what? You know what made me I'm just weird, because when they found out that King and Jarvis called King and said, hey, go look for this phone. If Jarvis wouldn't have called King and said, go look for this phone, they would be oblivious to all of this.
They wouldn't have never retrieved the phone.
They wouldn't have never retrieved the phone. They would know nothing about nothing. And yeah, his phone pinged in Ypsilanti, but it didn't ping at that woman's house. When they came on TV, they were at the lake.
There you go. When they showed us Ypsilanti, they would let that motherfucker lake by the car.
Yeah, they were like, it's so broad of a ping. This is where we're at. This is where his phone pinged at. But then King was, and they asked, well, why was y'all at Ypsilanti? And they was like, oh, because we had to go deliver a car. Da 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 da.
That was Frog Island where they was with all them cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this is what I'm saying. Back to that. Okay, if they felt the full fact that the little girl didn't make it back to Detroit because they don't have no proof that she made it back to Detroit. The police.
No, they don't.
And then if it was the video, they would have revealed that they showed a video from what hotel it was that Jarvis and her entered. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. But my question is, and we know that King had this tether. Why did they not look at his tether and see where they went?
Yeah, they could, but see, he's not a suspect. They only looked at his tether for violation of sending him back to prison for being with a new felon.
Exactly.
But if they go into detail, they can probably get that pinpoint location of where his tether was and get the land at the time they was up there. And they probably, and listen, here's my whole thing. If you didn't think this little girl made it back to Detroit, why is y'all in Ypsilanti searching?
Right.
And my heart keep telling me that somebody is lying saying that girl left Ypsilanti. We don't have no proof.
Right. We don't.
And the only proof that you could have, if somebody say, well, they drove out the street. No, they didn't drive out no streets. There's too many goddamn streets. There's too many cameras at the street lights.
Right.
They wouldn't drive down the street because that field could be gathered. They drove up like a street like Michigan Avenue coming from Gypsy back to Detroit. There's too. too many cameras on the streetlights.
Right.
that will pick up the vehicle that they say they was in.
Right.
Yeah, so they went the freeway. And it don't take no 2 hours or no hour to get from Ypsilanti to Detroit. It's a 45-minute drive.
And you, yeah, and everything that they're saying, it seems like they got a reason why they did what they did. It's like, okay, we went back and forth to the AutoZone because we had to get this part. First of all, they don't have starters or water pumps of Jaguars on the shelves at AutoZone. So no, you're lying. You're lying. And then you're gonna say
foreign car stuff don't be on the shelf. You gotta order that type of stuff.
exactly. So when you look at what they're lying about, it's like they're lying. You got to be lying for a reason.
I think King was lying because he was trying to prove that he didn't have no involvement with stuff.
But he did. And the only reason why they're going with what King said is because it established that Naziah was with them. That's the only, they're not going by it because he's telling the truth. They're just establishing that Naziah, they did pick up Naziah, and they're saying, look here, yeah.
Okay, and that's back to the whole thing all over again. That's all they really want to do is establish that this little girl's with you too. You two made it back, but she didn't.
Right.
That's where the puzzle has been from this point. That's why they're like, well, we don't know for sure if this little girl came back from Ypsilanti to Detroit. We don't got no proof.
Right. So
Only proof they got, and only proof that everybody got is the woman in Ypsilanti said they left her house at this time.
yeah,
And the little girl was there.
in a truck.
Yeah. And King got a 300.
Right.
Yeah, two different type of vehicles.
Yep. And then King said that the Jaguar that they worked on arrived at 9 a.m. that morning. And she said in her testimony that they towed that car on January the 3rd or 4th to the shop.
I thought she said the 8th.
No, she said no. She said it was either the 3rd or the 4th of January we had that car towed. And I'm like,
So the car had been sitting there all that time.
no, but King said it arrived. The car arrived at 9 o'clock
That morning.
that morning.
Yeah, so the car been sitting there all the time. That's why I told you King was
Hold on. Think about that. Why would he say it arrived that morning when it was already there?
Because he's trying to disassociate himself from Jarvis on this motherfucking case. He don't want to be a part of this case.
So, first of all, King saying that they went back and forth for a part, he's lying about that because he knows they went to pick that child up.
That's what they
And when you see them back and forth, they don't want to get caught in the lie. Why y'all went left and then you come back right and you went left and come back right? They're gonna say, oh, that's when we forgot a part.
The thing is, everybody knows if you're working on any foreign car, they parts is not in the United States. It ain't in this country.
Exactly.
We gotta order it.
So I asked, I don't think you were here yesterday. We were doing a live. It was a long live. It was a 4-hour live. I didn't mean it.
So when they left the shop, claiming they're going to the auto store, Jarvis was leaving the shop to pick up Naziah. King just rolled wrong with him.
Yes.
Okay.
And King, I think King knew.
So yeah, so when they question King, he gonna say, "See, I'm gonna tell the motherfuckers I went to the auto parts, so we're gonna pick this little girl up." So he don't want to be a part of this case. So that's why he's disconnecting himself by lying.
And you know what? when they come back to court in October, that defense team is going to subpoena AutoZone, and they're going to show that they did not pick up no water pump. They did not nowhere.
You can't pick up no water pump for no foreign car. Just going into AutoZone, you're gonna have to give them the VIN number, the make and model of that car, and they're gonna have to look online and order it.
Yeah.
They don't carry it in there. No AutoZone or Vance Auto, Pep Boys, any of them, they don't carry foreign parts.
Right. So yesterday, let me say this to you, because you wasn't here yesterday.
No?
Kenya came on our live. She called in.
Yeah.
And one question I asked her, she was supposed to call in today. I'm waiting on her to call in. I told her that we were live. I don't know what she's doing or whatever. If she doesn't, that's cool. You know, I don't trip on stuff like that. But I asked her, did she think that Naziah was alive? And she said no. And she's cousin, right? She's Naziah's cousin.
Yeah.
So I asked her, why did she believe that Naziah was deceased? And she said, because Kim Worthy said, without a doubt, they got enough evidence. So I asked her, what evidence do they have? She says, well, she's not on TikTok.
They said she was not active on most social media, and she's a normal active kid that's on all social platforms. And she hasn't been on anything since she went to Ypsilanti.
Yeah.
This is where they at, and this is where I'm at. That girl never made it back to Ypsilanti.
Well, the thing about it is, if she was using Shannon's phone, she was using the school tablet, and okay, she don't have access to Shannon's phone because she's not over there at the house. She don't have access to the school tablet because she's not at school. She don't have access to the tablet at home because she's not at home. If she ran away, when people run away, they stop. That's what they do. Now, I'm not saying she ran away. I'm just saying, just because she's not active on any social media, that is not enough evidence to say that this girl is deceased. It's just saying that she's not active.
Yeah, that's what make them say she's deceased, because she's not active.
But that raises doubt. If you go to a courtroom, and you have 12 jurors there, and they're going to say, well, what makes you say that he killed this girl? Because she's not active on TikTok or YouTube.
And they saying that all the stuff that he was searching for, that he been a baby. These are the evidence that they saying they got enough evidence to convict him, because he was planning a murder, premeditated. You understand what I'm saying? This is what
But one of them girls, what you know, that fiance, is she saying that she was in the hospital, she done had a miscarriage?
Oh, when they went and got her car?
Yeah.
So she had a miscarriage?
That's what they're saying.
Or she had an abortion. Which one?
That's what they're saying. I don't know. But if she was pregnant at the time and had a miscarriage or an abortion or whatever, she was in the hospital. Couldn't he been wanting to get rid of that child? I'm just telling you, like, if that was said when they have the October trial, that's gonna knock everything. I try to explain to everybody, that's gonna knock a lot of stuff out the equation.
But was she trying to get rid of the goddamn child, and she didn't want to have a kid with him, and had an abortion? Well, she could have had a miscarriage.
Right.
I mean, I ain't gonna say she didn't have no miscarriage, but I was just thinking also, maybe she might not want to have no kid with him and had an abortion.
Yeah. So what I was trying to what I'm trying to say is, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but as far as, yeah, he's gonna be gone, and people's like he's gonna be gone, but as far as the murder, I don't think that they're gonna have enough evidence, because people saying wait until October, wait until October for what? Because when you go to the preliminary exam, you're trying to establish you got enough to go to trial. It's not no big secret of what evidence they have. They have to share every evidence they have with the defense. So it's not going to be no big surprise going, hey, we got this, we got that. You know?
They showed the evidence that they have.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't go into detail, but they showed the main points. It's almost like a book. When you
evidence that they had that made them stop searching.
Yeah.
They told everybody else to stop searching of the evidence that they have.
And I was trying to tell her, so the shoe that they found is not the same shoe. The shoe that Naziah was wearing has a black threading. The shoe that they found, the red and white and black shoe, it looks like the same shoe, but they make all different kind of shoes of that Air Force, that Jordan that she wore. It's an Air Force.
But the model that they had as the clothing that she had on, it don't fit the description of the shoe they found.
Yeah, one thing is different, and you cannot say it's not different. If you look at the shoe, this girl was wearing a shoe with black threading on that red and white Jordan, but the shoe they found has white threading.
She was wearing Jordans. They were black and white. They had no red in it. They were black and white on.
So how's they coming up with all this? And then that's where they found the jacket at. But guess who found that? The family found that.
What jacket?
The family found the shoe. When they found the shoe, right close to the shoe was the jacket. So I'm trying to understand, because Kenya, I'm trying to understand, she's been on a lot of channels. And she showed up yesterday, and I'm like, hey, how'd you even find me?
That shoe that they found, it might have belonged to Naziah, but that ain't what she had on the day she went missing.
Right.
And that's what I keep saying. Once they find her body, it's going to determine the time of death. You know what I'm saying? It's going to determine how she died, and when she died, and what she died of. The body is the key.
Exactly. That's why we can't find it.
The body is the whole key.
And what you think about this? If they made it into town, and I'm not saying Jarvis did not take this child out or whatever, but when they made it into town, Jarvis ended up going over to his house that he lives at, and then he went over to Pinecrest Inn, and he called Shannon at 10:53. He called Nay around 10:56. He was calling these women. But
and that still go back to what I said. What was this baby at when he was doing all that? I don't think she made it back to Detroit for him to do all that shit. To go to the Pinecrest Inn, and then call Shannon, and then call this other girl. So I don't think that baby was back here in Detroit.
right.
Because if she was back here in Detroit, she would have been with him.
Yeah.
Or King.
Yeah.
And I told you, King separated himself, so he had to be back in on Teller. Right?
Right.
Which he failed to do. Because now he's locked up for a Teller violation. So apparently he didn't make it back in on time like he claimed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he back in motherfucking prison. He came from prison to get on the stand and testify, and he said that he had to be back in at 9 o'clock. You didn't make it because you violated already. Right now, it's this point.
And when he was talking on the stand, they was like, "Were you scared that you were going to be in trouble?" He said exactly what he was supposed to say. I'm not worried about being in trouble because I didn't make it on time. I'm in trouble because I have been in contact with the police now.
Yeah, he had contact with the police because they had to question him.
Yeah, because that's a no-no.
They had to question him about this little girl.
Yeah.
Being in Ypsilanti. And being took him from Detroit to Ypsilanti.
And when he was on that stand, he was shaking it. He shook his head. He put his head down and he kind of just, he looked at him and shook his head just really soft. And I was like, yeah.
He don't want to be charged with this shit.
Yeah, he don't.
But he might be responsible, though.
Yeah.
He could be responsible because it ain't like he won't beat a bitch ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, he don't whoop the pregnant bitch ass. That's what he in prison for.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jarvis had more than enough time. Everybody think he covered this up all in one night. No, he did not. He had the next day, and then he had a whole month after that. We not looking at, we're looking at the 9th and the 10th. What happened on the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, and all of that.
And then King said that him and Jarvis did not see each other on the 10th.
Right.
The next day.
Right.
He said Jarvis must have had some other family issues or something he was dealing with. So he wasn't at the shop. You see how he separated himself? I'm talking about the man separated himself the whole entire time. Nobody looking at what he is saying. He's only separating himself away from Jarvis and the entire crime.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I know. The only thing it tells me is something happened to this little girl before getting back to Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it had anything to do with King doing anything to this girl, not Jarvis, then therefore he gonna separate himself from Jarvis.
Right.
By saying when we got back to the shop, we was in the back separating all the money that we made going through what we had earned for the day. And then they asked her, what was Josiah? She was out there sitting in Jarvis' car in the bay on her phone. He keep mentioning his phone. It could have been Jarvis' phone. It could have been a phone Jarvis gave her.
Yeah.
That she can only use on the Wi-Fi. You can't take this phone home with you because they're going to take it from you. Yeah. King said that she was out there on the phone and they were separating money and going through receipts.
Right.
And then he had to leave. You know what I'm saying? That's right there. I had to go home. That's separating yourself from Jarvis and the little girl.
Exactly. Yep. Well,
And I'm saying, if they find that little girl body and see that she was hurt forcefully by somebody strong, she ain't gonna be in trouble.
well, they still gonna believe it. I mean, I believe Jarvis did something to her. I don't know if she's alive or not. I mean, when I look at when they do the,
If she is alive, she lied. I mean, they can't find the guilty murdering the girl alive.
but they still gonna find him. I don't think they're gonna find him guilty of murder.
If she lied, you gotta prove that she's still alive.
Yeah, but see, when you're on trial, you do not have to prove your innocence.
No, I didn't say you have to prove you innocent. I said when you're on trial and you're being charged with something, somebody saying the girl dead, you can prove that the girl is not dead. understand what I'm saying?
You have to. Well, you.
If I was on trial,
Yes.
and I'm telling my lawyer, this little girl ain't dead, my cousin got her. Now we would have to present her to show that she's not dead. I mean, actually have them bring her and have her walk in through the doors of the courtroom.
He don't have to present her. He don't have to prove him innocent. You do not have to prove you're innocent.
You're not understanding what I'm trying to say.
Okay, what are you saying?
You're trying to prove that you're innocent. I'm saying if you're trying to prove to the world or the court that someone is not dead, they are actually still alive. That means if you're telling this that they're still alive, you would have to present to everyone that she is still alive. You understand? Now you understand what I'm saying? Not to beat the case, but to prove that she is not deceased, like everyone is saying. So to prove that she's not a deceased, you have to prove that she is still alive.
I hear what you're saying.
Like right now, they prove it. They try to prove that she is dead without a body.
But
You understand what I'm saying?
yes, I understand what you're saying. But what you're not taking in consideration is when you're the one that's on trial, you do not have to prove anything. They have to prove. No, hold on. They have to prove that you are guilty. And I don't think that they can prove that okay, they don't have a what? Okay, their why is their motive. Okay, they're saying that you took her out because she's pregnant and you didn't want nobody to know about it. That's the why. Okay, so when did you take her out? When? Answer that. When did he kill her? Okay. How did he kill her?
They can't prove how.
Where did he kill her?
They can't prove that. That's what I'm saying. That's what they trying to convict on not being able to prove that. And that's why the lawyer was saying, no one said that my client killed this young lady, but the prosecution, there's not a witness that said he took her out. That's why they said he was fighting the murder and not the rape.
Right. Well,
what I'm saying is to shock.
What? Hold on. Did you see the Tyree Nichols where they beat that boy? The 5 cops beat that boy to death.
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, you know what? Those cops got off. You know why? And it was a video. Us looking at them beat him until he was pretty much dead. And then he died 3 days later in the hospital from all of those wounds. We seen it. We seen who did it. We seen when they did it. We even know why they did it and where they did it. And you know what? They got off. And they got a body. They got off. You know why they got off? Not just because they police officers. They got off because they took it to another venue, but they also showed like this is their job. This is what they were trained to do. See what I'm saying? So when you're not dealing with the common sense. You're dealing with the law of the land. The law of the land says the law of the land says. Right.
They found them not guilty. That was the riots in California. You remember that?
But this is why I was saying that they may not win the murder charge because he don't have to prove that this girl is alive. He don't have to prove where he was. He don't have to prove nothing. He's going to sit there and not say nothing. His attorney done told him to shut up. Don't say a word.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to sit there and not say nothing.
And 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 okay, so he's gonna get 50 years. He's gonna get 50 to 75. He's gonna get that automatic. The 25 they're asking for the max. No 20 years, 5 years, 3 to 15 for each charge. They're wanting the max, the 25, and the judge can't even say nothing about it. It's 25 is 25.
Ain't nothing you can say about that. That's the law. That's the law. 25 years is the max. And that's 25 years for each count. That's why Kim Worthy was calling people. Anybody got any cases that they think he's been done, that's why they said, please contact DPD. They try to bring as many cases as they can on him on sexual assault, sex, they even throw in trafficking, sexual trafficking.
Because you know what? If they wouldn't have got other kids and people to come up and say what they know, they wouldn't have nothing. That's right there is what's going to put him away. Not Naziah being missing. That just started the trend of this, what's happening. Like, we can't find her. We don't know where she's at. If it wasn't no other kids saying, hey, he touched me, he put his hands on me, they wouldn't have nothing.
Yeah, I understand that. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was saying. I was saying the same thing when I was saying.
Right.
I was saying that he could present her body alive to show that she's not dead.
Yeah.
Not to prove his case. This is what I'm trying to tell you. He can say, okay, y'all bring her to the courthouse now. She walk in through the damn doors. And then they say, well, she's not dead.
Well, you know what? She don't even have to walk through the doors. If there come a new video and she's on this video with a different name or something, and somebody notice her or see her or something and be like, that's Naziah, da-da-da-da-da. Guess what? They can hang up the murder charge because they know that is a new video. They know, okay, just like some people, they'll put a newspaper there to let you know that this is today's date. This is not something that I just uploaded. This is today's date. This is Naziah or whatever.
Yeah, that's why I kept saying they put enough cases on him that if they don't win the murder case, they got him on the max on all these other counts.
Right.
And that's the whole thing with Kim Worthy. They just want to convict the guy.
Yeah. When they were doing this press conference, you can get a lot of information out of a press conference, how they responded. And normally when they do a press conference like that, they're actually looking for a body. They're not looking for a child walking around or somebody got this child. They're actually looking for a body. And that's the sad thing about it. It's more likely she probably is deceased, but
deceased where?
Yeah. Where?
Yeah. Deceased where?
You run into people and they be like, well, see, I tried to tell y'all. You ain't tell us nothing other than what we already know. We know that it looks bad. We know it's 99%. It looks horrible. Just because, not only because she's missing, it's because everybody's lying about it. Because we haven't found none of the clothing that she was wearing. None.
And that's all I was saying for you one. They need to find a body because if they find a body, they can find out what she wearing when they find the body. If she ain't wearing what they said, they found it. If she ain't wearing a red, black, and white shoe, got one shoe on, if she got two shoes on, they find her body, that third shoe, they gonna know somebody planted that. That means somebody was involved.
Yeah. And that's what I asked Kenya the other day. How is it that these are not the shoes she was wearing. She didn't wear the ones. Yeah, I figured that could be her jacket. But you know what Annette said? Her hoodie was blue. Blue and black is two different colors. I can see how you get it mixed up if you're blind or you colorblind or you can't see or whatever. But her school colors is blue. And they do have to wear.
Well, Annette wear glasses, so I don't know. She could have got mixed up on the day when she went to school what color she wore.
No, you can't wear whatever you want when you wear in uniform.
You gotta wear uniform. Oh, yeah, okay. It was a blue hoodie. My school colors is blue.
Yeah, school colors are blue.
Okay.
And then, you know, they got to wear a certain shirt.
What color is the hoodie that they found?
Black.
See?
And when she was saying hi, that was a black hoodie, but we don't know if that's an uploaded picture. We don't know if that's an uploaded picture.
My thing is, and I keep saying over and over again, we only know that this girl was taken from Detroit to Ypsilanti.
Yeah.
And we got verification that she made it to Ypsilanti. But we were uncertain about the verification of her leaving Ypsilanti. I'm uncertain if these people telling the truth that she left with them at the time she said they left.
You know, when a person lie, I believe that they lying about a lot of stuff. So I don't think that girl.
That's how they snatching up everybody's cars.
Yeah.
They felt like they were lying about this motherfucking Jaguar.
Yeah, where's the Jaguar? Did they take the Jaguar?
I don't know. I heard driver say on the phone they snatching up everybody's car and they told the girl drive your mama car. And she's like, what's going on? He said, I don't know what the fuck going on. It's starting to piss me off. The thing is, I don't believe the girl ever made it out of these motherfucking Ypsilanti.
No, I don't think so either.
She could have been put in a goddamn car and they took her to the junkyard and smashed.
I think they put her in the trash and she's at the landfill.
We ain't heard that not said, did you?
Yeah.
What I said?
Put her in the car and smashed her.
I said they put her in the car, took the car to the junkyard and had them smash the car.
Yeah.
And that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, that's getting rid of the body altogether.
Yeah.
She had on and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that might have been the whole trip to get the lady in the first goddamn place, not to drop off a Jaguar.
Yeah.
The Jaguar to drop off a body. We have to ride the trip to get the lady about what about the damn car.
Right.
I think that shit was made up by the Jaguar because you can't find no goddamn parts for those foreign cars at the goddamn AutoZone, nowhere in there.
Yeah. See, you know the weird thing about, like, if I was his attorney, if I was Jarvis's attorney, I would say, okay, if he was worried about her saying something or telling or whatever, he was caught by those kids having intercourse with Naziah. That would have been the time he should have been taking people out. You know?
I think, and I'll say this again, if that girl was giving antifreeze, she was giving that shit around the motherfucking house.
Yeah.
For her to be sick in school, she was getting that shit in Kool-Aid or something around the goddamn house.
Yeah.
And so who will be giving her that around the house? Only one person that's trying to help her get rid of this baby.
Shannon.
Only one person her get rid of this baby.
Right. Right.
So she was getting little doses of that motherfucking antifreeze around the house. And she was being monitored, giving that shit.
Yeah.
When she went to school that day, and the teacher said she was laid on the floor, that means she had been getting that shit around the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe she left that little town. And they went there. They definitely went there.
Yeah. They went there. We know, listen, we all know they went there because the lady, whoever she is, the king, she said the little girl was there.
I don't know if she went over there. Well, see, when they do come in October, they're gonna have to subpoena these people.
Yeah, they're gonna have to have more information about this little girl being at that house. Somebody ring camera or something, neighbor or something.
Or the Tanasha, whatever her name is.
And you know what? You know how you turn the corner in your car, you driving slow up a block.
Uh-huh.
Somebody that live on that block got ring camera.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's more thorough investigation now because now your car riding slow up this block, but you supposed to be dropping off a motherfucking Jaguar. What the fuck you doing on this street?
Well, they got him on camera at a filling station. In
At the gas station?
in Islay.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The cameras. That's what I'm saying. The more investigation. They got to be on their job. On this cameras, every camera on the street lights everywhere.
And they said, and you know, if the FBI is investigating this, you know, they got the technology to look into the car from the cameras and see if there's somebody in that car.
Yeah, how many individuals are in one vehicle?
Right.
Hallelujah. I didn't know the feds had came and got TMZ on this.
Yeah, the feds is on this.
I didn't know that.
You can see them standing there in the background when they're doing the yeah, those, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cameras gonna play a big part in the rest of this investigation and in this case.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
lately in the 2000, they have been charging people with murder and not even having a body. It's very rare that they be found guilty, but it has been happening.
Yeah, because whenever Mark is placing someone with you, and you're the last person they with, and then nobody has seen them since they was with you,
Yep.
it's questionable. Anybody gonna say, man, you murdered this person.
Yeah, it's like the Cody Bixby case. The father said that the child came up missing January the 31st, and the child walked out the house, and they didn't have no clothes of the child. They didn't have nothing, but they charged him and found him guilty. They sure did. They found him guilty. They didn't have he wasn't looking up anything, and they still found him guilty.
Yeah, the thing is about this, I keep looking at the fact that with a body, they can tell if more than one person killed the person.
They know.
That's what I keep saying.
Well, the thing about it is, he did. Even if he did, which I believe he probably did, somebody had to help him.
But everybody that disconnected themselves away from killing this little girl. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody saying it's all on Jarvis.
Yeah.
King saying that. Shannon saying that. And Annette saying that.
I think if they charge King, with I'm not accessory, but when you help somebody,
Yeah, that is accessory.
accessory, then
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
accessory.
think I think we can get some truth. Just charge them. That's where I would like to see my money, my tax money go. Charge King and tell him that, because we know that he's lying. We know good and well he didn't go get no water pump, put no water pump on no Jag, didn't drive no 300 Chrysler, and the time doesn't work out.
Absolutely goddamn right. And then that means at that standpoint, they will reveal what his body is. Yeah, but see, the thing is, motherfuckers were separated. They didn't nobody recognize that. You the only one recognized it. And then you say you put your tax money on it. I ain't even got no tax money. I rob a motherfucker, put my money, I rob a motherfucker on it. But what you just said, King, I believe, has something to do with this. But from day one, he separated himself from it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Because everything King is saying ain't making sense. And I'm going to tell you something. The only thing that makes sense, to be honest with you, is Jarvis's sister.
Yeah.
When Jarvis's sister got on that stand and said she seen this child, and then she went down there to the police station, called her up. She called Shannon. That's how I figured out. Okay, if she called Shannon, then we ain't talking about Shannon's kids, but you heard what his baby mama said. Okay, the baby mama, who are you friends with? His baby mama. It's got to be the oldest child or the woman that he's with now, because I didn't know Angel has a kid by him. And you know what? These people are just sitting back, just watching and listening and waiting, thinking, oh, snap, oh, snap.
My thing is, I was trying to figure out why the King tried to separate himself from Jonathan.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, I was in the back room counting money and looking and going through receipts from all the process, all the work that we had done through the day.
Right.
We separate money.
This is what I was trying to, we were in a conversation. I was trying to tell everybody, I was like,
He wanted us to believe, and he wanted us all to believe, and they could too, that the girl was out there playing on her phone.
and this is what I was telling everybody. Look at when he started moving, when he really started moving. Now, when they was at the shop, he wasn't moving. I mean, they done got the girl's at the shop. Okay, they at the shop. I mean, he's there making money. They working. Okay, they go to Islani. Once they go to Islani and come back, that's when the moving started. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he calling this person. He calling that person. He over here. Okay, if you got a girl, especially this is Naziah, you got your girl.
But he was only calling people, you know what I'm saying, to establish an alibi where he was at, where he ended up at. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when he couldn't establish the alibi, he ended up at the Parkcrest Motel where he had money to go to the room.
Yeah, he didn't go home.
Hey, but my thing is, when they left the shop,
That's probably why he called Shannon. He probably called Shannon. He got back. The girl ain't with him or whatever. He gonna go stay with Shannon to say, hey, I was over here. I was with Shannon.
Yeah, alibi.
Hey, I got a room. Shannon, come to the room. Shannon didn't answer the phone. Now, here's the funny thing. You got a niece, did not come home. Y'all frantic. Y'all on the news crying, talking about frantic.
They talking about they checked the store. Why y'all didn't go and check the shop? They checked the liquor store close by.
Yeah. But
The lady asked her, what did y'all search? And look at me like they said at the convenience store.
But check this out.
Why y'all didn't go by that shop?
But he called Shannon at 10:53. If you got a niece missing that did not come home from school and you calling everybody, wouldn't you answer your phone if somebody called your phone? Or wouldn't you call them back?
She texted. He said she texted Dallas. Yeah, she texted. She didn't call him.
I didn't see her number call him that night.
She didn't. No, because she said she texted.
But he called her.
Yeah, but she said she texted him. She said never tell them on the stand that she called them. She texted. She said she texted. No tutor.
Right.
That's what she said she texted.
And I believe she did. And
I
he
believe that too, because everybody do. That's all they do is text around here. Nobody pick the phone up and talk no goddamn most. No, they don't. I know that. So I be telling my phone, man, why the fuck you always be goddamn texting? Pick up the goddamn phone. You scared to answer that bitch? Everybody texts. I be telling motherfuckers, I ain't into all that goddamn texting. I'm old fashioned. Pick the goddamn phone up and say something.
and then you didn't and the only time that they use the word her name Tuda is when she's texting him about she missing.
Yeah, they use that name. They use that name for more than her real name.
Yeah.
Tuda. That's the man they done gave her.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is a Tuda?
Tuda.
I mean, what the fuck is Tuda? I want to know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm 58 years old. I don't know.
What's a Tuda?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tuda.
Yeah. And my grandmama them from down south, I ain't never heard them say that shit.
What is a Tuda?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Women out there do you want to know? What the fuck is a Tuda? What the fuck is that?
Let's see. What is a Tuda?
Yeah, what is Tuda? What the fuck is that? I don't think nobody knows. We're sad, you know? Yeah, they the one gave her that name. But I still say SP that baby didn't make it back to Ypsilanti. And I'm willing to bet money on that.
Yeah.
That's why King was separating himself away from goddamn Darby. The thing is, King from Ypsilanti, and I think that's where he caught his case at in Ypsilanti. He didn't catch his case in Detroit. He caught his case in Washington County.
Mm-hmm.
That's Ypsilanti.
Yeah.
So who knows Ypsilanti better than anybody?
King.
Java don't know shit about up there unless he was hanging out there with King.
King got an apartment up there in Ypsilanti.
Well, he know the motherfucker plays better than anybody.
Yeah, that's what I was telling everybody. Like, yeah.
And you know the dump sites, everything. And I still say they took that goddamn girl to the goddamn junkyard in a motherfucking abandoned car, stolen car, and had that bitch crushed.
There's no way in the world they could have hit her really, really good. But I mean, he had 30 days to do it in.
Put that girl over in the trunk of one of them cars, and then took that car to the junkyard and had that bitch smashed.
But Ypsilanti is a very small little town for.
I bet you they got some junkyards up there in Ypsilanti.
They got a lot of junkyards. They got a lot of just cars there, just sitting in the field.
Once they smash the car, then they haul them bitches out.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, once they smash the car, they get stacked up in the junkyard.
Yeah.
Semi trucks come in and get that shit. They haul that shit out of there.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's why I said we'll never know the truth about this goddamn case until they find the body.
I don't think they're gonna find it in the next 6, 7, 8 months.
That's all gonna know the truth until they find the body. Right now, we going off the evidence that they got to get a conviction.
But if they don't find him guilty, they can't trial him again on the murder case.
Unless they come up with some new evidence like a body.
Oh, yeah, that's
Now,
right.
But
Yeah.
how the body determines the time of death.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
time will say, the time can say, this little girl was dead before she even left this life.
Right.
Or they can say she was dead before she even got to the life. She was dead around 5, 6 o'clock in the evening while she was still in Detroit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until they find a body, we're not going to ever know the truth.
Yeah.
And if they don't find him, get this unsolved. It's an unsolved murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm going to start digging into it deeper because it's unsolved.
Yeah. I think they're getting away with this one.
Yeah. King seemed like he was involved more than anybody that's involved with the whole entire case.
Yeah, he's involved.
Hey, because his criminal MO is armed. He ain't got no rape case.
Right.
He got a whooping a big. That's domestic violence. Whooping a big dad, but she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay. It ain't his first time whooping a big dad.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. He definitely got anger problems.
I tell you what, if they were to say King did this and they found that body, then we know for sure that this would be his last time whooping a pregnant bitch ass.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because they're trying to get you out body. We need this body in order to be able to solve this case and it not be an unsolved murder.
But do you think Jarvis would sit there and watch him beat her?
Maybe God was asking, man, I just, wow, man, I got to make it go away. She's, that man's going to go away, she going to have to go away.
You got to throw her. You got to.
I mean, the moment I got a problem, man, and I need to go away. And I'm going to tell you, the only way it's going to go away, the problem itself got to go away.
True.
On that ride back, coming back from Ypsilanti, and the music was loud, and it wasn't no talking. According to King. So then they asked, so what was the conversation like going back to Detroit? They trying to find out what was going on. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
King said there wasn't no talking because he had the music playing loud.
Yeah.
How loud was it playing in a motherfucking Chrysler 300?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And he got kickers and bass and all that shit in there. That was the time right there. Okay, if he music was playing, who was driving?
Right.
And that's what they asked, and the lady couldn't verify who was driving or how the secret range was when they were going back to Ypsilanti. And then back to Detroit to Ypsilanti. Because if Jarvis was driving in the front seat, and the little girl was in the goddamn front seat on the passenger side, and King in the back seat of the 300, controlling the music in the fire.
Now King was driving his car.
Oh, okay. Well, he was driving his car in, and the music was loud. There wasn't no conversation. According to King, there wasn't no conversation.
Yeah, King said she was in the back.
Okay, she was in the back. Okay, and the music was playing loud.
Yeah.
Well, and the Jarvis made it back to Detroit, but Messiah didn't. But only way Messiah, we didn't know that Messiah made it back because King said when they was counting up the money, when they got back to the truck, they said Messiah was in the truck on the phone. He put her on the phone. He put her in the truck on the phone. He didn't put her in the truck then. He put her on the truck on the phone.
Right. That's what he said.
Okay. And then when he had to leave, hurry up and go home, right? And when he left the garage. He put Jarvis and Messiah. He left the garage when he left to go home.
Right.
Okay. Now, that put Jarvis with this little girl by herself at the shop.
Right.
Now they said he went from the Jarvis went from this shop and checked into a goddamn motel.
Right.
So when he went to go check into a motel, and whatever vehicle he was driving, which would be his Escalade, what was Messiah?
Well, he first went and got that car from his baby mama.
What was Messiah?
Exactly.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't say Messiah was Jarvis. You know what I'm saying? Really, because King said that he left them together.
Right.
So otherwise, King said he left them together. She was alive. He disconnected himself away from that.
Right.
He was alive when I left.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Who would say she was alive when King left? And who would say she was alive when Jarvis King got back to Detroit? Well, King.
I think that girl that was on the stand that said that her baby had them glasses, I think she was telling the truth, because she didn't have to say there was some clear glasses in her back seat and her kid was playing with it.
Yeah, the glasses was in that car, and it's like you said, Jarvis went and got her car. Okay, so when he went and got her car, so you saying Messiah was in that car with Jarvis when he went and got that hotel room?
I think that backpack was in her car. And in her backpack, the glasses was in the backpack.
Okay, so yeah, she was in that car.
I don't know if Naziah was in the car, but I think her backpack was.
Some was in the car. But how did her backpack get in that car?
Because the backpack was in Jarvis's car. I think Jarvis took the backpack, everything that was in the backpack, and took it down to 7 Mile and Berg and threw it out for, if anybody was looking for the child. That's a distraction, that you're gonna make them look over here, and they can look over here all they want. They looking, but you know.
He left way through the goddamn shop.
Yep.
East side of Detroit, and took her shit and threw it way over on the west side.
Yeah.
ID, all that shit.
Yeah. Everything that was in that backpack. See, that's what people don't understand. Everything that they're saying that they got, it even if it was her shoes. Okay, let's say it was her shoes. It was her onesie. It was her blue hoodie. The blue hoodie could have been, or the black hoodie. It could have been in her backpack, because we didn't see her walking home with a black hoodie on. She didn't have that on. Last thing we seen her wearing, that's what she was wearing, I think. But even the girl at Islani said it was a colorful jacket. His sister said it's a colorful jacket. Ain't nobody talking about no black hoodie. I think when she was at school, she probably started her period or whatever. She probably cleaned herself up, or there's blood on there. You know what I'm saying? And then she wrapped it up and put it on in her backpack. And people that wear glasses, they don't wear them all day. They take their glasses off because.
Here's a key thing that's throwing everything off on that shit there, though, too. The onesie had somebody else's DNA on it. It wasn't Jarvis.
Right.
It was DNA of 2 other people.
Right.
I think they said one other person.
But I think Didn't they say something about they did have they had Nazia's DNA at the motel?
They said they had her DNA on that jacket, that hoodie. Her DNA was on that onesie, but somebody else's DNA was on that onesie too, besides their client. That's
Yeah.
why the lady said they were fighting the murder. Somebody else's DNA is on the goddamn motherfucking onesie.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody was listening to that.
Mm.
If you go back and listen to it, somebody else's DNA sample is on the motherfucking onesie, not Jerry's West. His DNA is only on the black hoodie.
You know what's so weird? I have a Ring camera also. And as long as I charge it up, it will record everything. But I can go back a year from now and still look because it's online.
Yeah.
It's online. It's
I'm telling you.
yeah.
Back a while ago, I said, you turn on the block and you drive a slow start from the corner. And people on that block got Ring cameras. Somebody's Ring camera gonna pick you up.
Yeah.
And you can look at that camera to the fact to see how many people is actually in the vehicle that's coming down this block. Yeah. Technology is a motherfucker. And that's what I kept saying. When you said that, yeah, they did, I remember hearing that too.
Yeah.
They got on camera stopping at some type of gas station in Ypsilanti.
Yeah. Now the camera is the highway camera, but it points at the filler station
Yeah.
that they're seeing Jarvis at in Ypsilanti.
Yeah, in Ypsilanti, yeah. That's what I'm saying. The camera picked them up, and it, that's right there before you get on the highway. So they pick his ass up at the filling station. So the camera, they got enough cameras that evidence to show that, okay, you was in Ypsilanti, what y'all said y'all was. But the point is any of them cameras gonna show that little girl was with them.
You know what? Now thinking about what was said, they asked King, did they run out of gas? And remember, King said something about earlier they ran out of gas or something. She was a distraction, blah 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 blah, whatever. But they were like, no, didn't y'all stop somewhere to get gas? Y'all ran out of gas? And King was like, huh? No. So why would they ask King that? Did they get a can full of gas somewhere?
Because they were seen, like you said, on that camera.
Getting
at the gas station in Ypsilanti.
Yeah, getting gas. I mean, maybe getting gas out of a can, not the car. Because why would they ask King, y'all ran out of gas somewhere or something? And King was like, no, we didn't run out of no gas. What?
They could reveal the King camera show. Y'all were purchasing gas at the gas station in Ypsilanti.
Yeah, they were.
And gas in the gas can. What the fuck you was going to do with the gas in the gas can? And y'all in the motherfucking car on y'all way back to Detroit, apparently.
Right.
And there you go right there. That's why I keep saying that little girl never made it back to Detroit.
And because King was on the stand talking about, we ain't ran out of no gas. What you mean? No, we ain't ran out of gas. And they just stopped questioning him. I was like, where'd that question come from?
They were trying to question him because they knew he was distancing himself away from this crime. That's why they asked him about would he be mad about his parole up flying out. And he's like, oh, I'm not mad about that. He's been mad about having contact with the police.
Exactly. That's a violation in itself, he said.
That sent you back to prison. He was in prison. And at that time, when he was on the stand, when he got done testifying, he went back to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. But once his parole officer found out he had contact with the police that came across his desk, he sent his ass back to prison. He violated and sent him back to prison right then and there.
Well, he was in prison before he got up on the stand. He was in prison before he got up on the stand.
Yeah, because he had been violated.
Right. But they said that they talked to his probation officer.
Yeah, parole officer violated. He was late getting back on television. He had contact with the police.
And then come to find out that he was running around with a felon.
Yeah, he was with Jarvis.
Knowing he was a felon.
Yeah, we ain't supposed to be together. Y'all ain't supposed to be in business together, none of that.
And he could say what he wanted to say because he wasn't on trial.
No, he distanced himself from Jarvis. That's why I keep saying he distanced himself. I mean, literally, like having police contact.
You know what I think is going to open up everything? I think his woman Angel is going to be the surprise for everybody. Because she got a child by him. I think that's
Everybody gonna tell him, but he gonna shock everybody when he open up his mouth to say something. He ain't made it yet. Wherever she was.
he gonna be sitting there in court with his head down, and Angel gonna get on that stand, and he gonna look like he just want to cry.
I don't know about that because I ain't seen him look at nobody on the stand yet.
He had tears in his eyes.
Yeah. Some tears ain't about people that didn't understand, but tears about the life. They ain't got nothing to do with nobody on the stand while he crying. He crying about the goddamn, he was in love with that little ass girl.
You think he was in love?
He had to be. He was trying to get her pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Why he wasn't trying to get Shannon pregnant?
He was. I think he was to a point he didn't care who he got pregnant because, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't paying nobody child support.
The thing is, Josiah wasn't looking at him as no pedophile.
No.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. He was in love with. She was looking at him as a man, and she was trying to explore. And she was willing to explore with him. He fell in love with that. He wasn't fucking with Shannon like that. That's why he said he didn't bother him last week, because he was too busy fucking the girl today.
Okay, so you know that Kenya came on yesterday, and Kenya said that Shannon sometimes took Naziah to the hotel when her and Jarvis was at the hotel.
They went to the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember the husband saying that too. I don't know, that shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say you gotta work tonight.
Huh?
I'm talking to my fiance. Yeah, that shit's crazy, but I'm saying I don't believe that little girl made it through this lady. I don't believe Troy King saying she came from this lane, saying she was in that truck while they was breaking down the money and the receipts from that day. And I don't think they went to the AutoZone and brought no damn water pump or no Jaguar, not no foreign part. You just can't do it. They don't got that sitting on the shelf.
Right.
You damn gotta go to the damn junkyard and get an old one off an old Jaguar to put on there.
Yeah, and if you go to the dealer, you still gonna have to wait.
Yeah, you gotta wait for it because they gotta order it.
Yeah, people ain't people ain't just having that.
That's why I was just saying, that's a field day for any room that you got. Hold on, you just can't go in the AutoZone and buy no damn water pump or no Jaguar and no Audis.
Right.
Mercedes-Benz, no Audis, no Volvo. You can't just go in AutoZone and get them. They're foreign cars.
Right.
You can't go in there and buy job. You get a damn alternator for a damn water pump and shit for a Nissan. The foreign car, you gotta go to the dealership.
Unless the car was actually delivered on the 4th or 5th. But she said,
Okay, but look, if the car was delivered on the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th of January, then they had enough time to order the car.
Right.
And then, when it was ready, I could go for that.
Yeah. But King said that the car came in that morning.
Yeah, he lied.
He said the car showed up at 9 a.m. He said the car showed up at 9 a.m.
He lied that the lady came and said that the car was towed on the 3rd or the 4th of January.
Yeah.
So they knew he was lying right then and there. See, that's distance himself from this case, not this Jarvis, but the crime itself.
Yeah. He's lying about everything.
The only reason he distanced himself from this crime is because his criminal background is violent, with a motherfucker ass.
Yeah, I think King got a lot more to do with Nazia's disappearance.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I've been.
Hey, you know what? What showed me he had something to do. He got something to do with it because he distances himself away from the whole entire crime.
Yeah.
Not just the guns. He distances himself from Nazia.
Yeah.
Jarvis Meeks. He came up there still saying it was Jarvis Meeks. Until they had to correct it. And one day he found out that it wasn't his Meeks, this was actually Nazia. Then I found out later. Yeah. He distanced himself from the whole crime.
Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna see.
We can look at his composure and how he's sitting on the stand. Listen what they asked him and listen how he answered.
Right.
You can't help but catch his voice real deep.
Right.
His voice is real deep.
Yeah.
You can't miss what he's saying.
Yeah, King.
But if you look at it, he's separating himself away.
Yeah, he did. He did. From the first time of that day, he was like, "Oh, we had to do this, and we had to go get the part." He didn't want them to know that they went and picked that girl up.
If you listen to he started off at the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
He started off at the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
He didn't get to the shop till about
8:45.
8:45.
Okay.
Okay. You see what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
He had another guy that was going to work on the car with him.
Right.
He said, now he don't really need Jarvis' help to work on the car because he had another guy that was going to work with him.
Right.
But this guy decided he wasn't going to show up this day.
Well, he said he was busy.
The plan he had going on.
Right.
Then he said Jarvis had his lease with him, but it was a distraction.
But no, remember, so he Googled it.
Yeah, he Googled it because the guy who he had on how to help him had more knowledge.
He analyzed the situation, Googled that, okay, we're gonna take the water pump off, we're gonna put one on. That's when he realized he needed a water pump. Then he said he called AutoZone and see if they had one in, and then Jarvis and him went to go pick up the water pump. On the way back, they forgot something, so they went back again And then on their way back home to the shop, Jarvis says, "There go my niece." So he made sure that they didn't see him like, "Oh, we finna go pick up my niece," because that's what really happened. Jarvis told him, "Oh, I gotta go pick up Naziah," and he, you know what I'm saying?
Actually,
Yeah, he did. He told him.
Actually, on the way to goddamn motherfucker, what's her name? According to the time that the text message that the detective read, evidently Ms. Lyra was texting Jarvis when they was going to AutoZone. Because she was like, she'd be at Westlake at 3 o'clock. If you're not there, she'd wait on you. So basically,
And yeah, that last text, I think it was at 2:00, and he said, "Yeah."
okay, so basically, Jarvis keeping up with the time while they going to AutoZone. Well, he got a desire. So once they get what they get, now that's when he took King of them, they're going to meet.
Yeah.
So now, the Jarvis mission is to pick up Naziah. King riding to get the water pump. That was pretty much what he's saying.
Yeah.
We didn't know Jarvis was trying to pick this little girl up.
That's what King is saying, but King knew.
Hey, that's separation. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
King is saying that's separation. What you separating yourself from your business partner for? What the fuck?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I can't understand. If this is your actual business partner, what are you separating yourself from?
Yeah, why would y'all pick her up? Why y'all didn't pick her up and take her home?
Yeah, why you didn't drop her off at home? Took her to the shop.
Because Jarvis, his whole goal was to pick her up, and she was going to be with him.
Hey, now listen here. We go another separation. I'm gonna show you another separation. King said, I asked Jarvis, are you gonna drop her off at home because she's a distraction? And he said, Jarvis said, no.
Right.
Okay, we trying to separate yourself right there.
Yeah.
You want to put this girl off at home or what?
Exactly. He made it. He made a point to make it seem like he was making the right decision. Like, well, okay, we two men in a truck. Why we got a little girl with us? We're working. We at work, man. Why you bringing a little girl with her? Take her home. You should have said that once y'all got to the shop. You should have said that when y'all was in the car. She wasn't a distraction just because she was riding to the shop with you, because her mama could have came and picked her up or whatever. But while y'all at the shop, you gonna say, we gonna take her home?
Yeah.
You should have been saying, hey, okay, we got her. Man, why you heading to the shop? We need to go drop her off.
King only mad because he got busted for being around Jarvis. And he had police contact. He only mad at Jarvis because the police contact landed him back in prison.
Wait a minute, I'm gonna tell you one thing, and I know this for sure. You know, birds of a feather flock together. Mm-hmm. You
King trying to get away from Jarvis.
Yeah, but
on this murder and sexual assault.
I think Jarvis was way out there, but King was all for it too. You know what? Men know men. Men know men, women know women. That's just the way it is. Like a woman come into the house or a woman come in the room, when she start looking around, or she wait till I pass and then she looks, she wants to look at my man. I already know she wants to look at my man. She acting like she ain't, but the minute I turn my head, she's looking. She's trying to get eye contact. Hey, is he gonna look at me? I already know. A woman knows another woman. A man knows a man. When they picked up that child, that little girl, and did not take her home, you couldn't tell me King didn't know what was finna go on. You just like when you're on the phone and you're like, hey, King like to be the B tail, especially pregnant or whatever. Cause you're a man. You see that. When a pedophile,
Telling you right now, Ryan didn't look at Jarvis as a pedophile.
Naziah didn't.
He said her communication really wasn't as a pedophile. She didn't treat him like he was a pedophile.
No, she didn't. She thought that it was okay because everybody in her family have older men.
Was approving of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. It was approving of it. That's how she felt comfortable.
She didn't see nothing wrong with it because she's a little girl and he like her, and you know she's growing into her womanhood. She getting a butt, she getting a tit, she getting a little figure to herself. You know, she got a menstrual cycle, so that tells you she's already, you know, producing the womanly things that she needs. You know, she's gonna feel those emotions of wanting to be loved.
Yeah,
And it was a man. And he gave her $5. He gave her $10. He gave her 25.
he was a man and not a pedophile.
And he gave her more attention than anybody else. Her own father wasn't in her life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Felt comfortable.
He got an Escalade.
So how you think that made the pedophile feel?
You know, he wore the hats, and he got the hair, he got the color. You know, he's tall.
He felt comfortable. And he continued with the team.
And he said that she was pretty.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's most of the time when you see women and they stick out their tongue, like, it's like, you know, I got it going on, or somebody like me, or I know I'm cute, you know. That's why women do it. That's why they stick out their tongue like that. They go, yeah. They don't do it.
And if she was unhappy with the hair, if she didn't ever show it, you didn't see her crying and none of that, she was always dancing.
Well,
If she was unhappy with her auntie, then she was always dancing. She didn't show it.
yeah.
I mean, we ain't seen nothing that's seen her crying. We ain't seen nothing seen her with no tears in her eyes.
She did say to Jarvis that she was never gonna be able to leave that. She called it a hellhole.
Okay, yeah, she did talk about it. You're right. Right, she did say that. You're right. She did talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, never seen a tear from her.
Yeah.
The only 12, never seen a tear. Never seen a sad face from her. She was always
She knew someone, right?
yeah, she knew someone right, but she was dancing through the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah, she was.
She was dancing like she was unfazed by it. I'm over it. I'm over the shit. If it was, they weren't teaching her nothing.
You know,
They didn't teach her about a period. They didn't teach her about pads, tampon. They weren't teaching her shit.
well, yeah, she said,
She had skill though. She was making and cutting her own clothes, designing her own stuff. She was different. She was different than everybody else. She didn't have to have what they were doing. She cut her own stuff up.
you know, I seen Shannon's kids, and they got a lot of pictures of Shannon's kids, and they had really nice clothes on all the time.
Yeah, they weren't dressed like her.
No, they wasn't dressed like, and people get mad at me, but I'm saying, like, she had like hand-me-downs, and you could tell they were dingy. You know what I'm saying? Like they.
You know what? Gotta put you in the movie of Cinderella though.
Yeah.
All other kids got good stuff except for Cinderella.
Yeah, I didn't see her really not, like, I mean, you can have a hoodie. You can get a hoodie from a secondhand store and it still be in good shape. When they asked Annette about her clothes,
He made it like she went and see his Robux and bought that brand new.
she didn't even want to answer the question. She said it was fairly new. That's what she said. She didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She bought it on Jason Kidd.
Yeah, because when I buy, I don't know who's calling. Hold, let me see who this is. Hold on. Hello? Hello? Now they hung up.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's why I kept saying, man, they didn't really do nothing for her. You could tell. And she didn't shed a tear.
No, she didn't.
She didn't shed a goddamn tear.
It's sad.
But she took the hand-me-down, like Cinderella would have done.
Yeah.
She made it, cut it up to what she liked.
Yeah.
And she got on camera and showed it off.
Yeah.
That ain't too proud to beg. I'm trying to tell you what I'm seeing with my eyes. I'm seeing a 12-year-old demonstrating around all these pedophiles, everybody that was around her, and she's just dancing like it ain't face. She's over it. I'm over this bullshit.
Right.
I'm gonna show America I'm happy, and I'm gonna dance through this shit. She sure did. At 12 years old, I'm seeing with my eyes the strength she had.
Yeah.
And it wasn't no men around. It was all women.
Right.
This was on the watch of all women. There wasn't no men. It wasn't like it was no. The only man was around was Eric Galley pedophile. We ain't gonna count it.
Right.
And the motherfucker living next door, they keep saying he was gay. He must have been just sitting over there minding his own business. He didn't want to get involved. Because Barry used to be over there with him at the house next door.
Yeah.
So if he was gay or whatever, or if he was a man, he was just minding his own business. He didn't put his nose in nothing. He seen what was going on.
What DeBarra didn't, he didn't like something. He ran away.
Barry was still a kid and he was chasing something else. What was he gonna do really?
I think he was chasing his identity, and he's a little slow too.
And he
Young, very young. He more young than anything. Young.
I was taking a grown man to holler at him or bark at him. You know what I'm saying? He all off his square.
Well, there was no man there to show him how to be a man. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't got nobody.
He had all these women.
He was scared. That's what I just said. I'm just being honest. He was scared. You can look at him now.
Yeah.
After he done ran away, how much stronger is he?
No, he's not.
He ran away because he was scared of me. Now that he came back, how much stronger is he?
Yeah, he's still.
Listen to his conversation, you see how strong he is.
Well, he's just not all about that street stuff.
He what?
He's not all about that street stuff. He's still a kid.
Yeah, he is.
You know. But
There wasn't nothing he could have done. He's a bigger brother. He older, but he was too young to even catch on what was going on.
yeah. Yeah, I don't fault him at all.
Hey, if you listen to his story, he said he told his sister to go in the house and get out of grown people's face. And when he tried to have a conversation with Jarvis wouldn't roll the window down. Ain't that what he said?
Oh, I didn't listen to it all because
He said Jarvis wouldn't roll the window down. But he said Jarvis stepped out the car and said, "What's up, little nigga?" He said he almost caught an attitude the way drivers responded to him. But he didn't do shit. He got the fuck off.
Because, you know, that's a grown man.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing a little kid gonna be able to do to a grown man, because you bark at them loud, you know what I'm saying? It's all over. They all discombobulated.
Yeah, you know, and I'm thinking about something, because this grown man came to my son. My son was 14, maybe 15, and they got in a, my son called him and said, hey, you know, you're supposed to have my car fixed. And they start to arguing and stuff. So my son was like, rah, 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 rah. He was like, rah, 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 rah. And he got the man so upset, because my son is really aggressive, right? But he's still a child. You know what I'm saying? He's still a child. That's why he's, nah, nigga, you gonna bring me my S now. And I had to tell my son, he got your card. He can tear that sucker up. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that. Like, so.
Right now, any man that get into it with any kid, whether you know him or not, the kid, you gonna get into the kid, because the kid gonna say, the first thing the kid gonna tell you is, you ain't their goddamn daddy. You telling them what.
Right.
So you can get into an argument with any kid right now that's not your kid.
Right.
So that's why I be saying, no, I don't even have no conversation with a kid about my kid. Let's say we all playing basketball here out there playing. I might say, good shot, little fella.
Right.
Good shot, young fella. You know, you get a shot and made a jump on the people compliment. Good shot, little fella. But as far as we had to have a conversation with him, first thing is, man, you ain't my daddy, man. He tells me nothing to do.
Right. And I was remembering when my son got into it with a grown man. Did he back down? No, my son did not back down. They was like, come on, bring it, and all this other stuff, you know.
That kid don't belong to you. What kind of conversation you really gonna have with him? That's gonna go right.
Right.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
As a man for the day, if you try to help somebody else's kid out in the street, the kid gonna be, you not their parent. They ain't gotta listen to you.
Right.
That's like if you driving down the street, the kid riding his bike in the street.
Right.
And you be like, hey man, you need to get out the street with that bike. The kid gonna say, man, you ain't my motherfucking daddy, man, fuck you. And you keep on driving, but you told the kid that don't belong to you, get out the street, somebody gonna mess around and hit you.
Right.
A reckless driver come through here that don't know how to drive, man, gonna mess around and hit you.
Right.
But the conversation is never gonna be a positive conversation trying to tell a kid that don't belong to you anything.
Right.
I know that. And every other person should know that.
That's why Marquita's son has a problem with Marquita's boyfriend. Because he's a kid that.
He's a kid, but I don't know how he treat my kid though.
Right.
And the kid is listening to this. How long you think that's gonna go on?
Right.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna last. They can like each other, love each other, whatever, but it ain't gonna last, because that kid done already said, you're being very disrespectful to my mama.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know him. And I'm just saying, depends on how he treats mama.
Right.
And I mean, if woman got sons in the house and they seeing this shit, man, what you think the kid, how long you think the kid gonna allow this wrong?
Right.
Just being, being honest. Being sucking your mama up and all that shit. I ain't really cussing with the devil clothes. They on the other side, no, they can hear this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How long they gonna let this shit go on?
Yeah. Y'all arguing.
So that's what I'm saying. What's his name? Andre.
Yeah.
His name Andre. Yeah, I was listening to him, man. Depending on how he treats her.
Right.
And how she treats him.
Yeah.
Because communication is the key. You can't talk. You can't. The conversation you have with a person, whatever energy you put out, that's the energy you're gonna get back. If you say good morning to a person, they're gonna say good morning to you.
Right.
You say, bitch ass motherfuckers, you can't say fucking good morning. What you think they're gonna respond back to you with?
Nah.
I ain't gotta speak to you every motherfucking time I see you.
Right. Right.
What you put out there.
Right. Right.
You gotta be careful.
Yep.
You have to be careful what you say, because that red tongue in the mouth get a motherfucker. It hurt a motherfucker feeling. You been saying something to a motherfucker, it hurt their goddamn feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when it all boils down to it, to save his own ass, God is gonna kill. If he got to kill on the motherfucker, he gonna kill. If he got anything to kill, he gonna kill.
I don't think Jarvis is worried about the murder charges, and he already knows for sure those other charges is a slam dunk. But that murder charge, shoot, they gonna show that King lying. They gonna show that the Islandi woman is lying. They're gonna show that.
Yeah, he fighting the murder charge. That's why he fighting.
Yeah.
Because he know he ain't had nothing to do with that. But everybody that put the baby in his motherfucking possession. That's what I'm saying. Everybody gonna put the baby in his possession.
Wait till he tell where Shannon was at. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, Shannon was saying that she was at the house. Annette was saying she was at the house. King said that he went home, and everybody went where they had to go, and the only person was with Naziah was him. I guarantee you, when October come, he gonna show King. First of all, we go to Islandi? What did we drive? They're gonna prove that. They're gonna prove that they didn't get no water pump. They're gonna prove that either Shannon or Annette was not at the house, or they know or knew or talked to him or whatever. They're gonna show something, and it is gonna. I'm telling you, when it comes to that murder charge.
You said Naziah went home?
No, I'm not saying Naziah went home. I just believe that Shannon and Annette know, and while they sitting there crying like, bring her home and somebody gotta have her, and it's against the law to harbor a child. Y'all know this girl is gone. Y'all basically know that she and him had a relationship. Y'all know that she was pregnant. Now, see, you know what bothers me? Because she's got all these kin folks and family. And so now, you know, they like Kenya and what's her name? Kenya's daughter. Whatever her name is. I can't remember it now. Roxy and all of them. They know so much now. You follow me? They know so much now. You can't tell them nothing. And this is what I tell these women. I say all the time, y'all know so much, but when it was time to call the police, you was like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know. But you can't tell you nothing. I'm like, hey, could it be where did these shoes come from? Why is none of what she was wearing out there in that field? But everything that could have been in her backpack is out there. But you're saying that she is gone because Kim Worthy said that's Kim Worthy's job to say that and convince the world that she is, because they're going to trial. She's not going to say there and say, well, you know, it's a possibility that this. We know how bad it looks when we haven't seen the child in a whole year. So it's not no rude awakening to anybody that she's probably deceased, because we know it is very hard for a child to live out on their own without money, shelter, food, you know. It's very hard. I was out on my own at the age of 14. I had to get with an older man to do that. But But I did it. I did it. And I think back and I go, okay, when I did it, I didn't contact my mom and say, "Hey, I'm over here. I'm over here." I didn't contact nobody. I went where I went. We did what we did. I went to work, woo 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 woo. Nobody wasn't looking for me. They didn't care. They wasn't looking for me. But just on the tip that she has not been seen or she has not reached out to nobody, that makes it look bad because she do got family member that she cares about. But, and I'm going to say this, and you mark my word, Shannon is going to be the biggest liar on that stand. And I don't know why, but I know a lie that she has said, and I know it for a fact. And when that lie come out, everybody going to look at Shannon more. Shannon stood there right next to her mama and sit there like, say something. And I just looked at her and I just got sick to my stomach. And I don't even know why, because like I said, and you said, and it doesn't make sense. Like they went to this town, which we know they did, and they came back. And that's all we know of Naziah. But he did call Shannon, and Shannon did put some stuff out there. And it doesn't make sense to put out there that this child is alive if she's not. And then you sitting there acting like, no, only time that he asked for Naziah is when Janiyah and Zaniyah can go, and I will talk to my mom, and when it's concerning, she acting like she a 5-year-old on the stand. It concerning her, I can only get the okay from her. I didn't just send her or whatever. Y'all was doing way too much with that little girl. And then Kenya came on the other day, and she just basically told us that these girls said that when they was at a birthday party, he wanted some fellatio. And they were touched and all this other stuff. Why you say that when these red flags come up, you would know them? That is the red flag. What other color do it have to be? Red, pink, purple, blue, yellow, green, orange. You looking at it. If a child tell you he asked for me to eat his butt, or he wanted to eat my butt, or whatever, or you know what I'm saying? And then you say, well, I talked to the mother and she said that she turned it in. And you believed her? Why you didn't turn it in? You turn it in because just like a fire, they tell people if you see a fire, don't holler, scream. I mean, like if somebody trying to kidnap you, they tell you to don't scream help, scream fire. Because when you say help, people turn their heads and go the other direction. But as you scream fire, people want to look. That's how that is. That's true.
Yeah.
They teach you that.
Yeah.
So when y'all see these red flags, y'all turn y'all head when your kids is talking about fellatio. Or I don't even know if they said the words that. They could have said, just eat my butt or suck my whatever.
Shannon downplayed. They said the kids was lying.
And the kids got whoopings and stuff. But being a grown-up when you say, okay, it may not be nothing, but let me go on here and send some people over there to see about these kids.
He only said that shit because she was trying to prove something to Jarvis.
I can't wait to see what she say on that stand when they say, hey, what happened to that birthday party when the kids told you?
She gonna be on the stand no more. I don't think they called her back to the stand.
Who? Shannon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are. Shannon's gonna have to answer why she was saying that this little girl was still alive after January the 9th.
Did
I know.
I don't think she's gonna be back on the stand.
But the defense can bring Shannon in there to make it look bad.
They can call her back if they want to call her back, but I don't think nobody gonna call her back. Jarvis defense ain't gonna call her back because she can't say that she can't say nothing that's gonna help him.
Yeah.
So why would they call her back?
But the defense is, and I'm not talking about the prosecutor, the defense will show that, like, you know, like anytime the defense comes in,
They don't have to call her back to show. They can prove from her testimony, like transcripts.
well, what I'm saying, but they are going to call her back. It's good to look at her squirm in the seat. Defense is going to call her back to show that her testimony is like, they always going to show that the people that's testifying against Jarvis, their testimony is not worth nothing.
Right, yeah. They can show that. They can prove that in the transcripts without even calling her back.
They're not going to do that, though. They're not going to do that. They're going to call her back because it's a trial.
But you can do, because the judge may not allow you to call on these witnesses back. You gotta have the witness that you calling back ahead of time. They say they only got 10 witnesses that they called.
No, they got 40.
No, the defense said they got 10. The prosecution got 40.
Right, but you can question those people.
Oh yeah, you get a chance to question whatever the witness they bring. But the defense said they only got 10 witnesses.
But check this out. You think Shannon ain't one of them?
Why you gonna call a liar back? What you gonna call a liar for?
You're gonna show that they could have lost that child in any other kind of situation. She taking that kid to the motel. What that got to do with me?
Mark my words, Shannon's not gonna be called back on
Okay.
Not Jarvis lawyer, not the prosecution calling back.
I bet you she is.
She lied.
I bet you she's gonna be there on the stand.
She lied.
Wayman, you want to bet me?
She's not one of them witnesses.
You don't. You want to bet me?
You can bet whatever you want to bet. She's not one of them witnesses.
Okay. You say I can bet what I want to bet. Let's bet something little easy, like let's.
You can bet whatever you want to bet, but she's not one of them witnesses.
I guarantee she is. Let's bet 50. Let's
All these witnesses you're gonna see now are gonna be police and detectives.
I promise you Shannon's gonna be there. Let's bet $50.
What's she gonna be a witness for? Who's she a witness for? The prosecution or the defense?
It can be either one.
The prosecution not gonna call her because she lied on the stand by saying the kid he never be in the house.
I bet you she gonna be a witness. You don't want to make that bet.
I know they showed she lied because Shannon said that Jarvis never come in the house. Annette said the Jarvis never come in the house. The detective with the blue shirt, the text message read that he was in the basement.
Okay, but you're
They proved right there that they was lying, so they're not gonna call liars back to the stand.
you're deflecting. So she's gonna be back on the stand.
This case gonna be
Yes or no? You're not gonna even remember this conversation, but yes or no?
This case gonna be proven without Shannon and Nick.
Okay. Okay.
They're not on the trial.
Okay. You mark my word.
They're not gonna be on this trial.
Yes, they is.
We gonna see y'all.
You okay, because you're not remembering something. The preliminary is not a trial. So he has not been on trial yet. So everybody that they called, they're calling them same ones back again. Annette's gonna be on there. Every person you've seen is gonna be on there.
If Annette and Shannon's on this trial, the prosecution is calling them.
They can call them. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that they're not, but
That's gonna be calling in the trial as the prosecution.
I'm not saying that the prosecutor's not going to call them. They are going to call them. But the only reason why they don't ask for them is because they're already on the list. They are already on the list
On what list?
to be called.
Carl.
Okay.
Because when they asked the prosecution how many witnesses they said they had 40 new.
No, they didn't say new. They said 40.
Okay, they asked the how many witnesses they got. They said they got 10.
Okay. And you know as well as I know that the 40 that they have, it's going to involve everything that they see, because you cannot go into a book.
It's going to be forensic, police, forensic. They ain't going to be Shannon and Ned. It's going to be forensic, determining the death of the baby, not asking if he was in the house. They're not going to be worried about the house no more. They're talking about the death of the baby.
Nope. Let me tell you something.
It's a murder trial. It's not no one for the sex trial. It's a murder case.
It's murder and sexual misconduct.
We talking about the murder. We talking about sexual shit.
All of that is all together. Those are all the charges.
Those people not going to be on this murder. It's going to be police and forensic science determine the death of this baby. That's what's going to be on this trial. Ain't going to be no Shannon and Ned.
Okay.
We had they shot at the preliminary. They lied.
No. You know what? I watched.
I don't want to ask them no more questions.
You know what? No.
I'm telling you, you're not going to get no more questions out of Ned and Shannon.
Yes. It's because Shannon's going to be on trial. Annette's going to be on trial. Tawana's going to be on trial. King is going to be there on trial. The same ones you've seen is going to be there also.
Only one's going to be on that witness stand are the people who told the truth.
You think King ain't going to be on the stand?
What they need him for, they got his transcript.
It doesn't matter.
They don't need him no more.
Yeah, they may not need him, but they're going to call him. Because I'm going to tell you something. You got to remember, the preliminary is a preliminary. That means it is, let's stick to just the fact. Let's stick to what we know right now, but let's not go off in the detail. Now, when you go to trial, see, that's just like a clip note. The preliminary is like a clip note. So you get the clip note, and now you're like, oh man, this is really exciting. I want to read more of this book. So you got the clip note. That's what the preliminary is. The clip notes of all the facts.
They get ready for trial. They ask you how many witnesses you have, and they say they got 40 witnesses.
Yeah.
Okay. And you think some of them witnesses going to be Annette and Shannon?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to be all police and forensic people.
Okay, let's bet $10.
They're not going to call Shannon and Annette to the stand.
Bet $10.
What reason they need to call them to the stand for?
Because you're talking to a whole juror. You're talking to 12 jurors that haven't heard this. They're not going to sit there and just read a transcript. It's more personal and in live when 12 jurors are sitting there looking at the person itself, and they asking some of the same questions, and then they're digging in a little bit and more in detail and say, okay, well, you said this before, and now we're asking you this question, and now what? Now you can't remember, or now the hat was blue, and then now the shoe is red, and the shoe was white. Yeah, they're going to have the same ones there. They're going to have the same ones there plus some. They're going to have to. They're subpoenaed. That's why you're going to have more. You might even have that Tanisha, whatever her name in Islani. You might even have her mama sitting up there. And that's who I want to see. I want to see that grown woman come up there and tell that fabulous lie that baby was sitting next to the TV that was sitting on the red stand, which we do know is true because I put a picture and they do got a TV sitting on the red stand. That was their house. They live in a trailer. And so we know this. But yeah, they all going to be there. And Jarvis's sister's going to be there. And those kids going to be there. And the police is going to be there. It wouldn't be a trial if they didn't bring them all back.
so many goddamn police that you ain't gonna even see a man in Shannon.
You got to remember that's what a trial is. Now you told the judge you only listen.
Trial's gonna be with all forensic and police. There ain't gonna be no goddamn Shannon net in this trial. Watch what I tell you. We're not even gonna call them.
Okay, I rest my case. You see, you can't tell a person nothing. Can't tell a person nothing. They be like, But I prove that you know what I'm saying is true, or you would have said bet. Because you got doubt in your mind. I got no doubt on what I'm saying.
I know they're not gonna bring them back. They're not a good witness.
It doesn't matter if they're good witness.
They're not a good witness. They're not gonna bring no witnesses. They trying to help their case.
They're part of the.
They're trying to help their case to get a conviction.
If they don't bring them back as their witness, the defense is going to bring them back as a witness and tear them up.
Everybody saying lying, they gonna be on the stand.
Okay.
Not because when you get up there lying.
How would you? Okay, wait a minute.
You don't stand lying when a jury is in the courtroom. You go to jail right then and there. You don't pass, go and collect $200.
Okay, they understand that because they sit there and they raise their right hand and they sit there and they've already told the lie. Now they're going to want them to stick on that lie.
I don't know nobody that want to go get on the stand and lie and know as soon as they get caught lying, you're going to jail right then and there.
They already done it. They're not in it. They already done it.
And you're going to jail right then and there. They may not give you a fine right then and there. You're going to jail though.
How are you going to have a trial if none of the main characters, especially the last one that seen her leave the house was Shannon?
The prosecution main character is the police and forensic teams.
Okay.
They gonna be their main characters.
I'm telling you, the main characters is the ones we've seen already. Those are the main characters. Every last one of them. Shannon, Annette, King.
Those are the people that they questioned at the preliminary.
Nope. Those are the main characters.
It's gonna be some new witnesses, and they're gonna be all police forensic.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Everybody who investigated this case.
Let me ask you this one question. So, do you know about Clip Notes? Clip Notes.
Yeah, what about it?
So, Clip Notes. I'm gonna give you a small explanation what Clip Notes is. Okay, if the teacher tell you, okay, she wants you to write an essay about the book of let's see, Abraham Lincoln. You can buy this Cliff Note and it'll tell you everything about that book. Everything about the book. It's called a Cliff Note. That's what a preliminary is. Now, if that's the Cliff Note, everything in the Cliff Note is going to be in the book. They don't bring in new. Now you're gonna have more information and more detail, but the Cliff Note is the more of the facts of why you're here, why this is happening, what's going on. They have to bring those same characters into trial, not in front of a judge this time, but in front of 12 jurors to explain to them why they are here. Because the jurors ain't heard it. They're not going to sit there and read a transcript about what she said January the 9th, 2025. What they're going to say is, Annette, we're going to ask you the same question they asked before. Where was you at?
I said they couldn't bring in forensics to tell the jurors why Jarvis is being charged for killing this baby.
Right.
They're gonna be bringing a forensic team to show the jurors that this man was searching how to get rid of a baby, and everybody that said that he didn't have this baby.
Okay.
And now the baby is missing and not haven't been seen since she was with him.
Right.
They bring the forensic team in to prove that to the jury.
Yeah.
They don't need Shannon and Annette to do anything to the jury.
Okay. Yes, you are correct. They are going to bring forensics in. but they also have to bring the main characters back in also.
If they need to question them.
No, all of them. They're going to question them. They're going to question them. They are a part of the whole situation. When she came up missing, how she came up missing, where she was at, who seen her last, who was her mother, who was her auntie that she tagged. They're going to want, because they have to paint this picture to the jurors. They got to bring them. They got to. You can't just bring forensics in. Well, we found some blood and 99% of it's hers and this, that, and the other. You've got to get to the soul. You got to get to the soul of the jurors that this is a little girl.
With the picture Shannon Net showing to a jury is that these two are lying.
It doesn't matter, but you got to get to the juror's soul, and the jurors got to know that this is a child. This is not a robot. This is not a movie. This is a child that had a life, that was on TikTok, that somebody fed, somebody adopted, somebody made sure went to school. She had a house, she had a home, and you can't show that on a transcript. So they got to bring mommy and grandma. They got to bring now. They're not going to bring her biological mother in.
They're gonna show that all in video.
Oh no, they're not. No.
See that all in video.
No, it ain't gonna be video. It's gonna be live, baby. It's gonna be live.
The jurors gonna see the video. We're not gonna see anything. The jurors gonna see the video.
You know what? I can't make you.
They're not gonna televise this in Wayne County.
I can't make you understand that.
I'm from Wayne County, and they're not gonna televise this. You're gonna have to be in the courtroom to see all this stuff that you're talking about.
Could be.
Ain't no could be. I know.
Okay.
I'm 49.
Well, you said you know that they're not going to be on the stand, and I'm telling you they are, and you telling me no, they're not. So
I'm saying ain't nobody gonna call them. They don't need them to get no conviction.
okay,
They don't need neither one of them to get a conviction.
okay,
All they need is the forensic and police to tell what they did and to show probable cause of this man searching for this, and then them to come in and explain what could this do and what this could do to a person's body. These are forensic people that's going to explain, well, if they take any dose of this or any dose of this, chances is they're going to have these type of complications, these type of stuff. They bring it in forensic to get a conviction.
okay,
They ain't worried about that. They ain't worried about the lies Shannon told. They worried about getting the conviction.
okay.
That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. This is a trial.
You can't. You're not going to get me to understand what you're saying. I'm telling you, I know.
They showed us the world that they was lying at the preliminary. They're not going to use them in no trial.
Man, let me say this. We just every trial I have seen, they have asked these questions to people. They said what they wanted to say. They bring them back to trial.
If they need them.
Ain't no if they need them. They bring them back because they did not ask all the questions. You can't go into detail on a preliminary. Preliminary is not supposed to last a whole week. I mean, for this to last 4 to 5 days, that was a lot. But I'm telling you, a preliminary, okay, a trial can last 2 to 3 weeks. But a preliminary, it's supposed to only last 1 day, 2 days the most. But this was lasting 3-4 days.
This trial ain't going to be televised. You're going to have to go into the courtroom and see this trial.
Okay.
It's Wayne County.
Okay.
It's Wayne County.
Okay.
Everybody gonna see. And we're like, damn, what about the trial? We're gonna be on there.
Well, I ain't weird. I ain't weird. I know for a fact that these people's gonna have to show back up. Every last one of them. Pretty much every last one of them. You're gonna have King there. You're gonna have Lil Tawana there. You're gonna have Shannon there. You're gonna have Annette there. You're gonna have the police department there. You're gonna have forensics there. You're gonna have the school there. You're gonna have the search people there. You're gonna have every last one of them we done seen and some more. They're gonna just be a little bit deeper. And so once they dig deeper and let you see why they said what they said, what made them say what they said, and then the questions, and then they already gathering up information. The defense is gathering up information to debunk what they've done said.
Ain't no information that's gonna refute what they said.
Huh?
Ain't no information. Defense ain't got no information that can refute anything they said. How you gonna refute DNA and forensics?
Exactly. I'm not saying that they're going to debunk DNA, but what the defense is going to do is make everybody that come on the stand look like a liar. So they're going to show that Annette's a liar. Because remember, the judge said, I don't know why y'all bring the mother, the grandmother on just to establish that, you know, she did have a household. That's what she said, to establish that because she didn't believe nothing that the grandmother said. So that's what the judge said. That's what the judge said. The judge said, okay, that's why she said, other than to establish that she had a house and she lived in a house and, you know, she had siblings and this is a child. That's why you brought her. But other than that, she's a liar. Now, she didn't believe a lot. She didn't jump on Shannon that much, but exactly. But they brought her in because you can't just say, hey, this is a child. You got to say this is a child that was adopted. The juror's going to want to know, where's the mother? Where's the father? Where's the auntie? Where's the cousins? Where's the family at?
You know what that established when the judge said that let whoever called her up here know that this witness here is not a truthful witness.
Yeah, but whether it's a truthful witness or not, they still got to establish that this is a child that had a life. And a
judge established that the certain witnesses was not being honest.
Exactly, but still, they got to call her back.
Hey, she did that in the preliminary.
And let me tell you, if the prosecutors doesn't call her back, the defense will and say, you see what I'm saying? The defense will and say, okay, you had her as a witness to make sure you had a trial. Why did you not bring the mama back? So of course they're going to bring her back and try to clean up her testimony.
Yeah, the defense need her back to prove that she was lying.
Well, she's coming back. They're going to have to stand on it now. They know the grandma wasn't about nothing.
The defense need her to prove that she was lying.
Okay. All right.
The other lawyers need her back to prove she was lying.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, she's coming back on the prosecutor's side. But I guarantee you, they all coming back. Every last one of them.
The prosecution might not even call them.
Okay. I guarantee you.
It would be the defense that calling them.
I guarantee you, prosecutors calling every last one of them.
They lie.
Okay.
They probably gonna call King back up. They trying to find out if his statement gonna change.
Mm-hmm. If King
disconnected himself.
If King had any sense, he would go ahead and go ahead and switch it on up, and somebody's gonna switch up their testimony. I guarantee it. Because somebody's gonna sit there and say, I ain't going to jail for this ninja. No, I wouldn't. I'd be like, but they lying, so they get on the stand. They're gonna tell their lie. Well, he's the main corporate, but still, we gonna see.
I don't think goddamn Ned and Shannon gonna goddamn show up. They gonna stay in the act like they've been doing.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Look at P. Diddy trial. Everybody that was in the preliminary, they're on the stand. You got Cassie, you got his son there. Everybody done already said what they said. They saying the same thing and they changing things up. Everybody there that was in the preliminary is now there on the stand. Sure is. And more and extra. Because the preliminary is nothing but a cliff note. That's all it is. It's just we're just gonna show you just a little bit to show you we got enough evidence to put this to trial. When they had one child that said he touched me, and I told my mama, and he paid me some money. He gave me some money to shut up. That's enough right there. He going to trial just because that child said that. Nothing else. Oh yeah, they found a jacket with her blood with DNA on it. That's enough for trial. You can indict. They say you can indict a peanut. So okay, that's all we need to tell the judge. She didn't have to make an educated decision. Even Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder could have seen that. We wasn't sitting there going, oh, I wonder if the judge is going to send this to trial. She had no choice but to send it to trial. Has she not? Remember what they did? Think about it. This man was supposed to go to court and turn himself in January the 9th. They let him go home January the 9th. Guess what he did January the 9th? He took out Naziah January the 9th. That's the broken down system. They cannot let that happen again. They not going to let him go for nothing in the world. He is gone for good. Thank you. He's gone. Trial or no trial, he's gone. Because that child, if they let him out, and it's just like getting bond. When a person asks for bond, they got to consider if it's a risk to the community. If they let somebody out on bond and that person go out and kill 15 people, do you not know they can sue the state? Why you didn't? What you had this killer and he done already killed 4 people, and you let him out on bond with a $20,000 bond or whatever, No, you can't do. But they let him go home 30 days. He didn't even need 30. He only needed 1 day.
Well, they most definitely weren't gonna let Jarvis go. That's why they made it let it be known that for him to be remanded back to the county jail.
Well, let me tell you something. They had already let him go for 30 days.
Yeah.
They done already did the damage.
Yeah. So he asked for a postponement. He had his lawyer ask for a postponement that he has some unfinished business he had to take care of.
And you know what? He did it too. He went. He left court, got in his car, went down to the shop, and then went and picked up that little girl.
Yeah, he did. That's how it happened.
And you know what? The world is not looking at that like, dang, she is not supposed to be dead because he's supposed to be in jail. He's a felon in the first place. Why would you guys giving him a 30-day allowance to stay out there? He didn't need 30 days. He needed 1 day. Yeah, I'm gonna spend some time with you. You get off the bus or whatever. Yeah, we can talk or whatever. Meet me at Cornwall 3rd mile, whatever. Boom, 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 boom. He gonna take care of it that day. That day. He don't need 29 more. He don't know when they're gonna come pick him up. He just happy. Guess what? I got a second chance to take care of this before I go to jail for a whole year, because he was looking at just a year.
No, he was looking at 2 years for a guy.
Oh, he only had to finish up a year. He only had to finish up. They said, well, if he turned himself in, they was going to keep him until December. He turned himself in January the 9th. They gave him that 30 days. He showed back up. Well, they gave him, I don't know. Yeah, 30 days or whatever. He showed back up February the 7th. Because you got to think, you got to take out the weekends or whatever. And there's 31 days in January. So it is pretty much 30 days, 29 without the weekend coming up. He turned himself in February the 7th. She was already gone January the 9th when he stepped out of that courtroom. He stepped at that courtroom. He had an agenda to take her out before anything else.
Yeah, that's what request for postponement. They did, and we got a 30-day postponement.
Yes, he did. And he took her out on the first day. Second day, he started cleaning up. The third day, I think he was doing some cleaning too. We just don't know about it. Because he got so many cars, so many ways to have different cars that is undetectable, because he's getting older cars. When you get in a newer car, you got GPS. And if they find out that you were in a newer car, they'll know where you was going. That's why he didn't drive the Escalade, because that Escalade will tell you something. I've had them unlock my car, and the only thing I had to tell them is I locked my car and I locked my keys in the car. And they was like, okay, what's your VIN number? Because you get this little key ring that has an ID on it. You tell them your ID, and boom, they unlock the car. They can start the car, unlock the car, all that. So, of course, he didn't want to drive that car. So he went over to the girl's house. Like I said, you said it too. Naziah was already gone. He started doing all that movement once he made it back into town. Naziah was already gone. What they doing at 7 Mile and Bird, that's a decoy. That's a decoy. That's a decoy. All day long. I don't know who threw it out. Shannon could have thrown it out. He could have thrown it out. He was out there for 2 hours. He probably did throw it out, but it's a decoy. That child was gone when they went to Yslany.
Yeah, could have been gone.
Yeah, she was already gone.
Could have been gone before Yslany.
Well, we know she was alive when they was at the shop. That's all we know. You're right. She could have been gone before then. But
The lady in Yslany lied.
well, she wasn't deceased because the dogs didn't track a decomposition in any of the vehicles. But did they even try to do they got the right vehicles just because they say those are the vehicles? Okay. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah, they saying
a truck, a 300. Was it his Escalade? Was it a Jag?
they ain't saying what vehicle she was in.
Exactly. They're saying that he transferred her in the blue car, but the dog didn't pick up nothing.
Yeah, that's their big.
Yeah, but because they gotta say, well the glasses was in that vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay, the glasses was in the vehicle. That means he probably grabbed her stuff and threw it in the car to go get rid of it somewhere. You know, I would have just threw it in a dumpster somewhere. But
They proved that by the glasses being in that vehicle.
yeah, well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm gonna get off of here,
Yep.
and I'm hoping that I hope that you're right. It was good.
I just hope they find the body before all of that.
I hope, but you know what? I don't think they're looking for the body. That's the sad thing. I don't think they're looking anymore.
You know what? You're right. They did say they got certain, or they right.
I think if they find the body, they're going to stumble on it looking for somebody else, or somebody is going to find it and say, hey, looky here. You know what I'm saying? But they're, as far as putting money looking for her, I don't think they're looking for her like that no more, because she can be anywhere. He had 30 days. She can be anywhere. She can be in any house, any car, any lake, river, any state. She can be anywhere. It's like, if you can't track where he been or whatever, then there's really no use of looking, because it's just like looking through.
We want a haystack.
Yeah. It could be anywhere. So you don't have that kind of time, and we don't have that kind of money. She's not. You see what I'm saying? That's why, and that's what I was trying to tell Kenya. Like,
and that's why Kim wanted to say the girl is dead.
yeah.
You know how the time and money, what you just saying, if you looking and we don't know where to look, she could be anywhere because he had a 30-day run.
Yeah, he had 30 days. We're 30 days behind. Nobody's really telling us no truth here.
They look like the fact 2 days before his 30 days of turning himself in, he turned himself in 2 days before.
No, he was supposed to show up on the 7th.
Oh, yeah, that's when he turned himself in.
Yeah, he was supposed, because you got to think there's 31 days in January. So it actually would have been February the 8th. But then with the 8th would have been a weekend or something. So the judge actually told him February the 7th, you come back and you report in, have your stuff together. Oh, shoot. He knew it too. He knew it. He's not smart at all, but he made some mistakes somewhere. It's just, you got all these women, and then you got women that ain't gonna say nothing, that they in love with him. But somebody know. He didn't do this all by himself. I guarantee you that. He didn't. He didn't do this all by himself.
If he did,
There's no way.
I think somebody else did.
You think somebody else did it?
Yeah, but I don't know who.
You think somebody did what?
Unalive. Somebody with motive. That's what his defense was. He's saying he had no motive to unalive. Somebody with motive.
Oh, he had a motive, but I don't think.
What motive he had?
I think it wasn't intentional death.
He had no motive to kill. What motive he had?
You know, I think he gave her some antifreeze or something, and he didn't think it was gonna kill her, probably get her sick or something, make her have a miscarriage. But I don't think he thought it was gonna kill her. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, boom, you know? But he was trying to think ahead of the game. Now, as far as that black hoodie, I don't know. I don't know if that was planted there. I don't know if he planted it there. I don't know how her blood got on there. But I don't think she was bludgeoningly.
Hey, the thing is, on the black hoodie, not only was her blood on there, Jarvis' blood was on there too. On the black hoodie.
I don't know.
If you listen to who all DNA was found on, they tell you. They said Jarvis Butts and the right here.
But DNA is just not blood. DNA could be hair. It can be skin, cells.
They said DNA.
DNA is just not blood.
I know, but they saying his DNA.
Right. But he was around it.
I ain't saying blood, his DNA.
Yeah.
But his DNA ain't on the one.
Nope.
How you explain that? His DNA is just on one item.
And it ain't on the shoes.
They didn't do no sample DNA on the shoes. They got the shoes. They did a determination because one of the family members said that was her shoe.
Yeah.
They went off a verbal.
Right.
They went off a verbal. They didn't do no damn DNA on there. That's why I said that probably was one of her shoes. What? That wasn't a shoe. That was part of the identification on the search.
Right. Right.
And then, yeah, that's one of her shoes. And her shoes came from the house. He said she had all her shoes out there, except for the other one. She only had one of her shoes out there.
Kenyan, the young lady yesterday said they had found both shoes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
They showed us on TV one shoe,
One shoe.
and they didn't even pick it up. They just did longitude, latitude where they found it at.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, they did latitude, latitude, the area where they found it at. They didn't even pick it up.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get off of here,
Yeah,
and
about to get this basketball game.
all righty. Thanks for calling in.
All right, SB.
All right, you guys. That was Wayman, and he is from Detroit. He's from Detroit area. We're just having a conversation about Naziah, and was waiting around to see if Kenya showed up. Something told me that she wasn't going to show up today, and I did text her. You guys, I love having conversation with people, you know, about this case. It is a lot of twists and turns that's happening, and I'd be trying to hook y'all up on some knowledge, and y'all be wanting to beat me down like I don't know. Girl, you can't tell. Like I tell people all the time. But you know what's so good about having conversation? When you can have conversation with somebody and they don't get offended because you don't agree with them. But you got to let them know. When you know, you know. Especially when you know. When you know what you know. You cannot let somebody turn you around and say, oh, no. You be like, I'm going north. And they say, no, go east. No, follow your first mind. You know for a reason because you watch things. You pay attention. You pay attention to all things. You guys understand what I'm saying? You pay attention to not one case, but all the cases you have seen. You see how this is going to play out. And this makes you educated to make a decision. What's going to happen next? How it's going to happen? Who's all going to be involved? Who to continue to watch, listen, compare your notes to. When people show up and want to tell their truth, and you know, I got Whatchamacallit's number. I could have just called her up and said, hey, you busy? I could have just called her, but sometimes, like I said, if she had information that we did not have, that would be a plus. The only thing I was going to really ask her, we did talk about this yesterday, you guys, but let me share this back with you, because she did say that she does not believe that Naziah is alive. Okay. But they had this balloon release, and they, selling these shirts. And if you believe that she's not alive, okay, what is the reason of selling a shirt if she's not alive? If you believe she's not alive, like you're selling me a shirt so you can get a shirt sold, or you can make money, and I don't even know what you're making the money for. But okay, but if you don't believe that she's alive, because what Kim Worthy said, what is the reason to sell a shirt? Is it to remember her, or is it to I don't know. So, like, usually, it's for remembrance and things of that nature, to make sure you guys don't forget Naziah, So those are things that play around in my head when we're talking about this baby here. Yeah. Things like that always happen. But you guys, Wayman, I love, chatting with him. We done chatted offline before, so we go back and forth. And I respect him, because you got to remember sometimes us being women, we're not going to look at things like a man looks at it, but that don't mean I'm agree with everything, It's just, it is what it is. But but they're going to have things that you cannot understand because it's under a man's the way they think different. They think different than a woman. But then when you can share something with them or show them something, they may not ever say you're correct or you're right. But then when they see it, they be like, I'm not gonna vet you, girl. You know, because the girl, you ain't messing with no dummy over here. You know, but Zan and I, we go back and forth like that all the time. You guys, me and Zan do, and so he's not the only one. But like when you're compassionate about how they did this case, and it's just horrible. It's just, I'm not blaming nobody. I'm not pointing fingers at nobody. But, he's going to go to jail for these other girls, and he's really not going to. I mean, I hope and pray that they can do to him what they did to Corey Bixby and find him guilty on what they have. It's just very slim. But shoot, they had less than that on Corey. So it's, I always keep a positive that it's possible. And I pray about it. I do. I pray about it and hope that, the jurors be there and they can see through all the smoke and the mirrors and stuff. And when they, even though that you got a lot of witnesses, that it does not make sense of what they say. What time it was it light or not, what car they were in. None of what they're saying is, it's just not, okay, was it a peanut or was it a apricot? Okay, a peanut is different from an apricot. Was it white or was it blue? Okay, white is different than blue. I mean, all these things that just, people gonna remember what they remember, how they remember it, but some things is just stuck. I mean, because we got so much technology now, like you cannot get it mixed up. Soldier Girl said, he's so smart, SV. I know, right? But okay, Soldier Girl, all right. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I like, some, like I say, some things you can't tell people. You got to tell them what you know. And they'll, she said he is. I didn't say he wasn't. Did I say he wasn't? I mean, because he's involved in this case. I mean, like some people have compassion about this case. I have compassion. He have compassion. Woke the God have compassion. You guys got compassion too, because you wouldn't be in here. But we definitely gonna keep respect of each other. You know what I'm saying? We definitely, and even when Kenya came on, I mean, when I went back and listened to the live, she was a little bit hostile with me. She was like, "Oh, you can't tell me nothing, and can't nobody come for me." I mean, and every time I almost wanted to snap, and something said, "Be quiet, listen. Maybe she got something to share." So I would stop and just give her the floor. And I listened to the whole live yesterday just to see was she going to come back with anything. And she wasn't. I think she's more hurt. I think she's more hurt about getting on YouTube and getting dragged, And I think she's more hurt about that than in her name and, that than the other thing. Because to be honest, like I said before, I never did kind of really reach out to her because, or Roxy, because they wasn't around. They may give us stuff that I really wanted to know. Because sometimes you do the digging and you say, was that even valid that I even called this man up and I'm harassing him, Jermaine, and all this other stuff? So I was like, I need to go in here and let y'all listen to it because this is where we was at and this is where we was going. But since, and then if somebody else wanted to go find Anthony. You know, nobody still don't know where Anthony is at. Soldier Girl said, but you match him as no, not really. You know, you know, he's a very respectful person, and so I respect that. You know, when you have respectful people, like Kenya came over here, she was respectful yesterday, so and I appreciate that. She was respectful. I think she came for the wrong reason, though. I think she came over here for the wrong reason. But you know, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because she believes Nazaya's deceased. So now what? If Mark D didn't keep up his channel talking about her, then other channels grabbing hold saying, "Hey, this is, you know, why they not looking for this little girl? Why all this stuff going on? You know." She said, "I love to hear him speak. Is that the real estate man? Is that the real estate man? I don't know what you mean by the real estate man." But I don't know what he does for a living. Yeah, Zan, but you know, Zan is respectful too. She gets mad. Oh, she gets mad at me. She gets hot. Zan be getting hot, y'all. Zan be like, I'm finna go, SP. You're not listening. I be like, Zan, you can't tell me nothing. I got a hard head. You got to show me. Y'all know I'm from the show me state. So whatever. Now I was born in Denver, but I was raised in the show me state. And then I came back to Wichita with my family when my aunt died. And that's what we always say. You know, we got a hard head. You got to show me. You can't tell me nothing. Show me. Just show me. Show me where this is. Show me where that is. And you know, we'll match. We'll match you on it. You know, just show me. We ain't got to get disrespectful. But I am from the show me state. That's where I get all my pizzazz, my charisma, and all of that at. I get all of that from Missouri. Exactly, women. Yeah, that's where my auntie raised me at, and I learned so much watching her and how she was a very rich woman. I said prominent woman, but a rich woman. And I tell you, you know, I like crime and mysteries and things of that nature. And you know, the good thing about it, you know, we're like this. It used to be when we first started this channel to wait for a trial to happen. I know we're finna go to another case. I've already even got what we're going to talk about, you guys. You guys are going to be y'all going to open up your mouth and say, oh my goodness, SP. No, you did not. But anyway, yeah, I already got the name and everything. It's already happening. We're going to jump on that case starting tomorrow. But I still want to keep Nazaya's name alive, because I don't think if they do find her, it's going to be on an accident. One of your friends called in way in a real estate, but not today. Somebody called in when we was on the live, and I was going to click over, and I think Phyllis called in also. But you know how hectic it get when 2-3 people is on the phone, and you can't hardly get nothing in when women get to talking. You can't get nothing in. So that was okay. Yes, Zen gets fired up. You too. Girl. Yeah, but Soldier Girl, let me tell you something. Y'all have not seen me when I get frustrated. Actually, I am not even a talker. I'll say it and let you just go. But when I'm trying to get you to understand, like maybe there's something that you don't see that I see. I hear what you hear, and you thinking I don't hear what you hear. I hear what you hear. And not only that, I go back over the live and I listen to what you're saying. But At the time, let me tell you something. When I know what I'm saying is true, oh, trust and believe. You're not going to budge me. You can't make me change nothing. I'm not going to change anything. I believe if I change anything at that particular time, I'm making a terrible mistake, because trust and believe, I believe everything that I am saying at that particular time. And until you can convince me if you have something to show me. And then I'll be like, dang. I had my neighbor mad at me because we were arguing about the property line. And you know what? He had to come outside, go get his shovel, dig up in the back of my yard to show me something. And until you show me, I'm mad. You on my property. Da 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 da. And he was like, Miss SP, no, I'm not. Da 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 da. Me and my husband out there getting hot and heated and everything. You guys, trust and believe. He dug up. And if you don't know, on a property line, if you dig at the corners of your property line, there's a little thing. It's a stake that they put in the ground. And if you're right there on the property line and you dig, guess what? You'll hit that stake and it'll show you what your property line is. I did not know that. And he's like, see, right here. And I was like, wow, where'd that come from? Anyway, that's how it works. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to get off of here. I got a lot to think about, but definitely I'm not going to sit there. I am going to think about what he said, but I'm not going to think about it that much, because I do believe, without a doubt, I was telling him right. He thinks that they're not going to have Annette, Shannon, King, what's the girl's name? What's Jarvis's sister name? Tawana. He think none of them gonna be in this trial. He thinking they're done. And I was just trying to tell him, what are you talking about? We ain't had the trial yet. That's a preliminary. That's just talking to the judge. We got to have the trial, dude. What's the trial without the main characters? That's all I was trying to tell him. And he was like, nuh-uh. So remember I said it, because y'all know, y'all like, SV, you know we know. Okay, let's take a toll real quick and then we're going to get off of here. If you guys think that they're going to have Annette, Shannon, King, Ipsy Lady, all these people in the trial, put a 1. If you think they're not going to bring them to trial, put a 2. Come on, let's do this, and then let's get off of here, okay? I need to see some 1s and 2s. If you think they're going to be in the trial, put a 1. If you think they're not going to be on the stand, put a 2. Put a 2. Zena said a 1. You know, because, okay, JoJo said a 1. Okay, see, Diane said a 1. I couldn't explain it to him no other way. He was like, no, they're not gonna bring them. I said, see, look, I don't see no 2. See, I'm waiting to see a 2, because I want to see who in here is new to following cases. If you're not new to following cases, you know, Soldier Girl said a 1. See, you know what I was telling him was the truth. That's why he didn't want to bet me. He didn't want to bet me. That's the second time he didn't want to bet me. First time already been proven. See? Virtuous. I don't see no 2s. I know when I'm right. And then you know what I said? Okay, I couldn't convince him to kind of look at it the way I was looking at stuff, because it's a trial. You know what I said? I said, okay. Because we're not arguing. I just say, okay. All right. Okay. And then, you know, that conversation is done. And he still believes what he's saying. And And whether we get to see it on TV or not, I'm pretty sure Court TV will probably be up in there. Because there's little girls involved in this. You know, they may not let us see that part, but I don't see why not. Only thing they have to do is the news have to ask for permission. And I think that this case is so well known that they will allow the TVs in there. You know what I'm saying? They did it in the Tyrese case. They did it in the did they do it in the King? They didn't do it in Corey Bixby case. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They let you see so much of it. So it all depends on what is news when October comes. If it's still, this is what I tell everybody. If the story is still trending, channels are still asking about Neziah, people are still interested, they still want to know if there's any updates, they still are celebrating this child's life and remembrance of her and stuff, guess what? You will see it on TV. If they done went to a whole new child, a whole new situation done happened, or a celebrity done got involved in something, and that's the trending story, you can hang it up. The news is not going to be like, yeah, let's bring such and such over there when the bigger story is over here. That's why I tell people all the time, I don't know if Kenya came over here because she felt some way about YouTube, or maybe she's still trying to keep Neziah's name alive, because she really don't have anything that she can tell us. You know, I'm not saying she's not valuable, but I mean, she told us the things that we needed to know. It's not like, okay, you told us what we needed to know, let's throw you away. No, that's anytime that anybody wants to come up, call or something and talk about Neziah or what they believe or think, shoot, I'm in. If anybody want to be in, just tell me, hey, drop the link and I'll drop the link. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to get off of here. You guys have a blessed evening. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Be good, be safe, and be nice to each other. Bye.